This episode of LA Meekly is brought to you by Podcorn. Podcorn is a marketplace connecting podcasters to amazing podcast sponsorship opportunities such as host-read ads, interview segments, topical discussions, and more. With Podcorn, there's no middleman. Podcasters of all sizes can browse and choose opportunities right on the platform, set their own rates, and collaborate with brands directly without any exclusivities. You never give up any rights to your podcast, and Podcorn is there to support you at every step and ensure you're protected and compensated for the work that you do for brands. The marketplace mission is to give podcasters transparency, creative freedom, and full control of how and when we monetize. So start doing ads. That's podcorn.com. Podcorn.com.
Podcorn.com.
You still got it.
I had 4 different tags jump into my head at the same time, and I didn't catch any of them. Podcorn, be our competitor.
No way. Coca-Cola's way better than Pepsi.
Oh, I thought we were discussing the merits of F. Scott Fitzgerald, but you want to argue Coke versus Pepsi? Let's do it. Pepsi blows Coke out of the water.
Pepsi tastes like expired Coke, and if I wanted expired Coke, I'd get expired Coke from my garage because I have so much expired Coke in there because I can't drink it all in time.
All Coca-Cola still has traces of cocaine in it, okay? Pepsi only has angel dust, so there.
Well, I guess it's just the age-old debate of Pepsi versus Coke.
Don't you mean the age-old debate of Pepsi versus Coke versus 7-Up?
No. This is a private argument about F. Scott Fitzgerald, so butt out. Also, who are you? I'm sorry for being rude. I haven't had my morning Coke yet.
Didn't you recognize my transparent Greek visage and bubbly personality?
Slimer?
No, I'm 7-Up, and I'm here to throw my hat in the age-old three-way between Pepsi, Coke, and 7-Up.
I believe you mean the age-old four-way of Pepsi, Coke, 7-Up, and I, Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper? That's a Southern man soda.
How dare you, sir? I have a PhD and was a loyal soldier under Stonewall Jackson.
Not so fast, partner. All 4 of y'all are wrong. It's the age-old 5-way between Pepsi, Coke, 7-Up, Dr. Pepper, and me, Barks root beer.
Barks? That old cowboy juice?
I'm the only soda made of something that grows in the dirt. Roots.
Whoa! Did somebody say 5-way?
I think at this point we're at a 6-way.
Whoa, baby! Mountain Dew here at your service, and don't worry, I've got a low sperm count.
And don't forget about me.
Who are you?
They call me Mr. Pibb. And don't forget about me, Squeak.
So to sum up, it's the age-old debate between Pepsi, Coke, 7-Up, Dr. Pepper, Barks, Mountain Dew, Mr. Pibb, and Squirt. And Shasta. Oh, what? Why is everyone leaving? You're all too good for Shasta all of a sudden? Is it because Shasta's got priors? It can't be the restraining order. That thing's expired. Is it because Shasta's sold in the 99-cent store? Don't pretend like Shasta doesn't see you there too, Mr. Pibb.
They call me... Oh, you call me that.
Shasta's better than all of you. Who's there when you need something to bring to a kid's birthday party last minute? Who do you turn to when you want value, but not flavor? Who else is the Little Caesars of soda? Long live the king!
Shasta was killed that day. He died in a bloody shootout with Cactus Cooler, but not before dragging little baby Squirt down to hell with him. This message brought to you by the American Dental Association. Hope you enjoyed our new ultraviolet ad campaign. Make sure to check out the full video ad on TikTok, guest directed by Sam Peckinpah. Hi, this is LA Meekly, the podcast that'll have you saying, "Are you still at the park? Did you leave?"
Why would we leave when there's so much sleep space?
We had to reserve a spot for next month.
This is a very popular park. You heard the party that was going on in this park last month. We didn't want that to happen again, so we've been calling in bomb threats all month.
all month. I've been saying that I've seen someone in the trees.
You're too casual today. You've been in the park for too long.
Yeah, well, you know.
You're holding your microphone like you're Rick James about to leave the stage.
You've referred to me as Rick James several times in this conversation.
It's the hair.
It's the lack of hair. We all did weird things during the pandemic. So
Some of us did super freaky things during the pandemic.
super freaky when? Now?
When you were counting us in, you said this is episode 91, and that was kind of shocking to hear. I know last month was 90. That didn't do anything.
That
for me. 91.
91 is closer to 100 than 90 is.
It is.
That's how numbers
Wait a
work.
minute. Let me get my abacus.
Let me do tally marks real quick on the ground.
We've officially. It's like 2001 was the new millennium.
Yeah.
91 is when it really. That's when we've realized we've been doing this too long.
Yeah. Sorry, you said 91. I thought you meant 1991. I'm like, that the millennium's 2000, but I see what you mean now.
No, I don't. I think
I know.
I think I know when Jesus was murdered. I was there. Or was it when he was born? I was there too. Some people call me Lucifer.
Some people call me Maurice.
But all I know is that I'm the devil and I'm smoking token, midnight smoking.
The other day I was thinking about how we were at a party at Chris and Cindy's, and it was me, you, maybe Nadav, maybe Andy Sal, and another guy who I think was a comic, and we were talking about that song.
Of course we were.
Of course we were. I feel like every party we're at, we have to bring up the Steve Miller Band.
Has anybody heard the Joker?
The four of us were stumped because they're like, what the hell is the song called? And the other guy we didn't know was like, it's the Joker. And like so mad at us, like, oh,
but only because he was dressed as the Joker.
Yeah, he was dressed as the Joker. It was also Steve Miller.
His favorite, you know what his favorite movie is, don't you? Oh my God, there's a horse going by again, but there's no rider. Isn't this another Steve Miller song?
Where's the pale horse? This horse is black. Where's the pale horse?
I've been through Burbank on a horse with no rider. Is that Steve Miller or is that the Eagles?
That is for sure not Steve Miller. I thought it
well.
was Neil Young, but
That's
might.
definite. Now I'll lay down.
Okay,
that is
you're
for
laying on
sure
the
not
wall?
Neil Young.
Anything folksy that's kind of okay. I'm like, is that Neil Young? Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
we saw
look
the
at that.
horse.
Oh, he's big.
That was the mayor of Burbank.
Yeah,
telling us
Jay
that there's
Leno.
a horse.
little boy Jay Leno.
And by horse, he means it's a hot rod from 1950.
It's a car named after a horse. Mustang, maybe?
I don't know. I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it before.
So what is this? This is the July episode.
This is July.
Happy July. It's about to get even hotter than it was for those 4 days.
About to get hot. The first 2 or 3 weeks, it'll be very loud in every neighborhood.
Congratulations on everybody on July 5th for making it through Frightened Dog Awareness Month. Ow.
Oh, yeah, Daniel's having a stroke, but it's not a big deal, though. And this means that I did research for nothing.
As I'm being resuscitated by the paramedics. You mean I sat up until 3 a.m. every night?
You made me sit still for an hour for nothing?
There is what we think is a rabid squirrel, doing acrobatics of the... It kept coming up to where we were sitting.
Yeah, very close.
And then we'd make a movement, and it would backflip away like a ninja in the 90s.
Like a ninja in the like an American ninja in the 90s.
So if you hear a rabid squeaking and then the squirting of blood.
Yeah, you know what it is.
You know what time it is.
Yeah, 911 time.
That means it's time to mail all your LA Meekly box tops. Put on your masks. So before we get into anything, we have I hesitate to say a couple. We have one new Patreon person and then an upgraded Patreon person.
Oh, please tell me.
A bionic Patreon person. The new person we have is Bridget Popel.
Hi, Bridget.
We've never had a Bridget as a...
No, we haven't.
Except when Bridget Bardot when we were sending postcards to Bridget Bardot.
It was for something else that wasn't related to this. It was just on our official stamp.
It was a ransom thing.
Yeah.
And then we have... I mispronounced his name the first time. He told me how to properly pronounce it, and then I forgot it, and now I'm going to mispronounce it again.
Cool. That's a bad job on your part, but
I've been bit by so many squirrels this past month, Greg. But David Kahn, he upped his amount
fantastic.
that he gives
Thank you
us
very
on
much.
Patreon. Yeah, that was really nice of him. But enough about these people who give us money and we ransom them. And
we have their addresses and we do things with them.
We sell them for Bitcoin is what we do.
What Bitcoin is, we're not really sure yet.
We don't understand, but we do know what blackmail is. And that's an investment you'll never lose money on. Before we get into this month, what's something you did in the last month, or do you want me to go first?
Well, last month, I'll tell you that I for sure didn't go see Conan in his last week. Even though I reserved tickets, I ended up not being able to go.
Here's something to consider, though, because I did watch one of the episodes from the last week, and nobody in the crowd was wearing masks at all.
Oh, I feel like I'm in enough situations now where people aren't. I've been inside of places.
That's true.
I've been going out. I've been irresponsible.
But you haven't... I've been bad. Tell me I've been bad. But there's also no spacing. You would be in a cramped theater that was built 70 years ago with no masks on. I don't know. And that's been another segment of, I don't know.
I don't know.
What have you been?
A quick one and then a longer one. Quick one, I went to Formosa Cafe finally. It was
Right.
very nice. It's going to have to be one of the spots that we go to.
Before they are gone forever
Yeah,
for whatever
exactly.
reason.
Before someone, on a whim, someone buys it and destroys it and stomps it with a giant boot.
The Monty Python Corporation buys it.
A better day was that we took Ringo to Rosie's Dog Beach in Long Beach, which was really nice.
Oh, you've talked about that place before.
I might have brought it up. There's another dog beach in Seal Beach, was the one I went to before, but Rosie's is a nice one.
And there's a Seal Beach and Dog Beach.
Yeah, people don't talk about that, but yeah.
No one ever goes there.
No one ever goes there.
Because people get so bitten.
No, actually, no seals there.
It's just the musician. It's just his beach house. It's his private property.
It's sealed.
Seals Beach.
But, he's a dog, so he gets friggin' filthy at the dog beach. That's what he does.
Boy, is he a dog.
But walking distance, there's a place called Paw Spa. I know it was a self-washing station, so we were able to wash him right after that. They give you like a apron, and you lock him up in a little tub, and you hose him down, and it was...
You pour this dissolving chemical all over him.
And then after that, we went to the lighthouse, and I saw the fox, which was insane.
Oh, yeah. I still don't understand why there was a fox. What was it, which
Point
lighthouse?
Furman,
Not
the
Point
lighthouse, the
Vicente.
haunted lighthouse.
They're both haunted. That's what's confusing.
Oh,
is
yeah,
that
yeah,
there's
yeah.
two lighthouses,
You
and
could
they're
say I
both
went to
haunted.
the haunted lighthouse, and you still wouldn't know which one I was talking about.
The haunted one.
The haunted one, the cats.
The one that a bunch of people have fallen off the cliffs of.
And when you're standing there, you get it. When you're there, you're like, there's cliffs. There's like a cliff.
It's funny because not long after you were there, like another body showed
my
up on
God.
the bottom of those.
So scary.
It is.
But yeah, I saw what I thought was a really long orange coyote. And Ada had to be like, no, you've read children's books before. That's a fox. I'm like, all fox are in Britain. How can a fox be in California? They go fox hunting. And she had to be like, they're in California too.
There's no chicken coop around here. There's no attractive women that he can leer at. I've never, ever, I don't even know if in a zoo I've seen... Who am I kidding?
Wow.
Of course I've seen one in a zoo.
Oh, I walk by, but I close my eyes. That's what it is.
I refuse to see
I refuse to
any,
see them.
anything that's related to a Roald Dahl property. I don't look at those BFGs in the zoo. No, thank you. The big effing gorillas. But yeah, that's like unfathomable to me. There would be a fox, but that actually leads into my thing because I asked you if I
killed
could.
a fox.
I let loose a bunch of foxes in the city in this past month. I asked if I could use that picture because I started from the library. I found that there's a thing, as with everything I do for enjoyment, it's meant for children, but it's called the iNaturalist app, and it's basically like if you see something, say something. If you see like an animal,
So you're a narc. That's great.
it's natural to think on all of your neighbors. But if you see like a fox, that's why I asked for the picture, or any animal or plant life, you upload it to this and it so then everyone can see like on a map, this is where someone saw this, and then people identify it.
Oh, wow.
And then that helps scientists track like, oh, there's foxes by the haunted lighthouse. Oh, this is where these birds go at this time of year. So you're helping science and uploading things, which
That
are my
makes
two
you
favorite things.
a scientist.
Naturalist.
Are you sure it's not just like a poacher's database? You're positive, right? That it's not like just like a bunch of hunters?
I shouldn't have posted that I saw that white rhino in Van Nuys. Or was that a spearmint rhino?
I was very sleepy at the time.
I'm giving away. Can you believe this is the last?
Yeah, there's a family of deers at this park. Can you believe it?
I just hear a collective coming from Santa Clarita.
Miles away. Yeah, Santa Clarita.
That's what I've been doing.
Cool.
Just pictures of slugs and things like that.
Hey, you're right. That is completely a thing meant for children that you are, I don't want to say exploiting. It's not exploiting, but it's definitely not for you.
I don't want to say you're appropriating childish things because you're childish. We'll do the listener question at the end.
Okay.
I did a
Uncle
Jesse movement with
You
my
did.
name.
It is.
Or Uncle Joey. Which one's the
Uncle
funny one
Jesse
and which one's the attractive
is the attractive one.
Okay.
That's
what I'm doing
John
all the time.
Stamos, Dave Coulier.
Which
Uncle
one's the
Joey.
one that Alanis Morissette wrote a song about?
Uncle Joey.
So we'll get to that at the end. This month, it's pretty much summer.
It's summer now.
It is summer. I think today might actually be Midsommar.
Oh,
Did you bring your...
a crappy boyfriend who's not really guilty of much other than just being a crappy boyfriend and doesn't
Not
deserve to die.
supportive.
But yeah, just break up with him. You don't have to burn him alive.
I brought you over to this cliff. I wanted you to see something. And I hope you don't mind...
We're a little old-fashioned.
I hope you're not too attached to your skin, literally and figuratively. But yeah, it's summertime, and what better thing to have in the summer than Soda pop.
Soda pop. One of God's greatest gifts. One of his most natural things.
Sprung from the earth.
It grows on a bush. Soda pop.
Divine ambrosia. Manna from heaven. Soda pop.
You cut an elm tree, it bleeds soda. Black cherry if it's in season.
Other times of the year might be wild cherry.
It might be a 7-Up.
I thought this would be a refreshing break from the summer.
Yeah.
And something, because the last 2 episodes, not that they were like heavy stuff, but they were like important sort of things.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do something completely unimportant.
Yep.
I have 3
Spooky stories. No.
3 slurpy stories. I have 3 drinks and you have 2 places.
Yes.
You might want some soda. You're going to get thirsty.
I almost stopped at a certain soda pop shop on the way over here, and I was going to grab you something, but I was running late.
We should call this episode Thirst Trap.
It's going to be very confusing, like our March Madness episode. People are not
Hey,
going to know what they're listening
we
to.
got a few more downloads than we should have, didn't we? Everything should just be. And here's our mayor of Easton. So I'll start it off.
Okay.
Ever wanted an Orange Julius but didn't feel like going into a mall? Then have I got the drink for you. You don't even know what I've done this month, have you? You don't know.
Don't point at me.
I always get accusatory when
Hey, you.
when I realize something.
Full on about to get in your face, which I haven't done in a year. Gonna get physically in your face like you've done Orange Julius already, Daniel. No, I know.
Not like this. We're Aaron Manking this and we're remastering all of our
Remaster it.
episodes.
It just means I'm gonna add spooky sounds behind me, bats and
Yeah, there's going to be a creaky door.
Tell me more about this not Orange Julius thing that's not in a mall. I don't know what you did this
Then
month.
have I got a drink for you, Greg. And it ends with a bang.
Oh my God.
That's right. Orange
Don't say it.
bang.
Oh, now I need one. Damn it. Once
Yeah.
you say it, I taste the froth in my mouth.
Oh,
like the
Greg.
rabid squirrel here.
I can really taste, and I'm getting like blood in my eyes too. That's the orange bang experience, isn't it?
I just feel, I don't know, feral.
I feel like just ripping my clothes off and also clawing my skin, just like an orange bang.
Do you have a pool I can jump into? It's really hot.
And die.
Yeah.
Yeah, orange bangs.
My God.
So good.
Oh my God.
So good. It all begins with.
One more. Oh my God, orange bangs.
Can we have a moment of silence
Yeah.
for Orange Bang?
Do the sign of the cross.
William Hung is singing. It all begins with a man who ends with a fox. Not the one that we were talking about. I don't know why foxes are coming up so much in
It's
this
very
episode.
odd.
That's right, David Fox.
Okay.
He's a Canadian, but why grow up in a nice place like that when you can split your childhood between Los Angeles and Detroit?
Did his parents get a divorce?
They got a divorce from Taste. Hey, when he got older, he became a minor league baseball player who looked like he was on a path to make it to the major league, but then something came down that path in Phoenix in 1952 that he wasn't expecting. A ground ball that jumped up and hit him in the eye.
Okay, that'll do it.
Yeah.
I took one of those in like
Really?
first grade, yeah.
Did it mess you up?
Oh, it messed me up real bad.
Because this guy, it sidelined him, but when he recovered, he realized that the injury messed up his vision and he was never able to hit a ball as well as he used to. So a dream he had worked his whole life for crushed. He quit baseball.
Would you say it was banged?
He got a little oranged up. His emotions were all whipped. So he quit baseball and did the only sensible thing he could do, moved to Detroit to work in his dad's lingerie store.
Wow.
And then a ground G-strings flapped up and ruined his other eye. But then phase 2 of this guy's crazy life started when he moved back to LA in the late 50s, where he got a job doing promotion for Capitol Records.
Oh, wow.
Here he met all the big Capitol musicians of the late 50s and 60s, and also was apparently the guy who discovered the Dynamics, who did the song Misery, which went on to be borrowed by The Who in the song Zoot Suit.
Okay.
So it's not the song, because I was thinking, the world's keeping me down, misery, but that's not the Misery song. But you'll hear the guitar riff and you'll recognize it.
This is very similar, I don't know if you remember, to Famous Amos's story.
I was just thinking the same
Yeah.
thing. This guy who became known for something that's probably going to give me diabetes one day, he had a fingerprint on the history of music, which
Yeah.
is weird. We need like clips for our...
Yeah, we do need clips. I'm watching you struggle, and it's not as funny as I thought it would be.
Yeah, the wind is blowing our papers. Maybe if I put some yakety sax underneath it.
Maybe I'll hold a banana cream pie in the other hand.
Just in case this goes south. But then he left Capitol and entered into the third phase of his life, the juicy one. He and 4 others started a company called 5 Crown Fruit Juices, who ended up becoming the California distributors for a drink made by a company in Texas. And this was a frothy orange drink, something along the lines of an Orange Julius, which, as we know, was quite in existence at this point. The 5 Crowns, so they were trying to get this drink sold in movie theaters in California, but before anything could happen, the company in Texas got sold, and that frothy orange drink recipe got swallowed into the tough American Texas dirt covered in a mountain of Longhorns and Alamos. And as goes Texas, so goes 5 Crown fruit juices. Their company failed, but Fox, who had already been a big fan of Orange Julius, had also been a big fan of that frothy orange drink that he was selling for this company. So he decided to mess with Texas and try to recreate the recipe for the drink himself and sell it on his own. So there was not Orange Julius. Now I'm playing into your hands.
You idiot.
It was not Orange Bang. It was just something like that. But he decided to recreate it now. So he set up shop in his kitchen, and over the next 3 months, he'd wake up at 6 a.m. every day and tried 1,500 different versions of how he thought this drink was made, forcing his teenage daughter and her friends to drink them and tell him what they thought.
That sounds like, I would get tired of it. But we're talking about Orange Bang here. I probably wouldn't have got tired of it.
Your dad is so cool.
Yeah. We'll be here at 7:30 in the morning once he's done whipping up 100. How much? 1,500?
He didn't do it all in one day. 1,500. He tried 1,500 different versions over 3 months. If he didn't do an absurd amount of things in one day, I'm not interested. So finally, in July 1971, he had recreated the recipe to his satisfaction. He still doesn't drink it, though, unless he has to, because he's still sick of it from that whole process. So if
he's a poser.
You love Orange Bang?
Yeah.
Smoke a whole pack of Orange Bangs. It's the only way you'll quit. His daughter and her friends still have heartburn from this. But now, what to call it? He couldn't get over the Crown thing, so he thought maybe Orange Crown.
It's not a bad name.
Enough with the Crown. How about Orange Royal? No. 1%. Orange Delight? No. He wanted something exciting. Something that has a word that'll get people jumping out of their seat. Orange Bang.
I love it.
I'm going to put like an atomic bomb explosion when I say that.
That's more of a boom. What you're looking for is this sound. Put a bang here.
Now all he needed was $5,000 that he borrowed from his mom to build some special dispensers for the drink. And off he went, going door to door to every small restaurant in town that he saw, pitching it to their owners.
Yeah.
He'd bring in all the ingredients and blend it all fresh at the restaurant for them to try. Like open up a briefcase and there's loose milk and oranges.
Give me that bag over there. It's got orange juice in it. It's got loose orange juice in it.
Now, don't look at it too much, though, because I don't want you knowing the recipe. If the owners were interested, he'd cut a deal with them and install one of his specially designed dispensers that would froth up the drink for you right then and there and become whipped.
Wow.
So he made this machine also that would give it that frothiness.
That's crazy.
On top of that, he would also be the one going around.
It never looked cool having to do that, by the way. Not to judge you and tell you how to do things.
But what if I play yakety sax? What if I play Bad to the Bone while I awkwardly turn pages? Turn. So he would also be the one going to all these restaurants, servicing the machines if there was a problem with them. And this was how he got into the Bang business.
Okay.
Just trying every small restaurant in town and getting Orange Bang into whoever would have him. For those first 2 years, Fox was literally doing everything. Like he was hustling these bangs all over town, usually working every day of the week until midnight, making about $100 a week, which got him 2 years behind on his property taxes.
God.
But then he started making money and he was able to hire people to actually help him. And about 4 years in, it really started clicking, which means he had to repair the machine, which means they're out of syrup.
It started clicking, so I had to go to the hospital. It wasn't good.
His heart started clicking because he was so overworked. Sorry, Mr. Fox, but you have clicky heart.
It's terminal. It's terminally clicky.
Click, click, click. That's him crying also. Everything. Oh no, you've got clicky tears.
This is worse than I thought.
It's clicking faster than we thought. He had managed to carve out a very specific niche in the market. Orange Bang was the fruity drink of choice in most fast food places and convenience stores around LA, which is a niche that you will still find Orange Bang in to this day. Like small, casual mom and pop places where you order at a counter. That's where you're going to find an Orange Bang in Los Angeles. And they became like the local drink of choice. I imagine ordering an Orange Bang at a hamburger place in town in the 70s was on the same level of like being in the know as ordering a cheesesteak in Philadelphia in whatever way the locals do, where the guy taking your order doesn't yell at you for ordering it the wrong way and say, "What are you, some California boy?"
Yeah. Hey, city boy. I got a racial slur for you.
Bigger city boy. Get out of here.
Why
woulda? He never did any advertising either. Like it just kind of became popular organically because it was so good.
Yeah.
Like people just liked
like our comedy.
Yeah,
like our podcast.
Like LA Meekly. It just like no one even talks about it. It's so good. It's so popular.
You don't want to spoil it by talking about it and letting all your friends know about it.
We've moved on to the singularity where everyone just knows how good it is. And it translates into big bank accounts.
Not even any advertisements for it anywhere.
It doesn't have to be. You don't even have to like our posts on social media. Oh, we're sad. Fox always said that the product itself was the key to success. Like L.A. Meekly. Look, I told you were going to get uncomfortable without a chair. And now
I'm
you're
trying to distract you.
You're doing Abercrombie and Fitch poses now.
I'm doing Burt Reynolds' centerfold Playgirl.
And while there was a lot of comparisons to be made between the Orange Bang and its fellow L.A.-made uncle, the Orange Julius.
Boo. That's old stories.
Everybody, throw your tomatoes now at my face. Throw the banana cream pies that you've been waiting for.
Keep the oranges. He could use those.
The two never considered themselves to be competitors.
Right, because they're not.
No, they're not. To start, the Orange Bang is way sweeter than the Orange Julius, and the Julius is made in a blender while the Bang is made in his signature frothing dispensers. But the most important difference is that the Orange Julius was found only in an Orange Julius. Like, if you wanted an Orange Julius, you had to go to an Orange Julius or a Dairy Queen. The Orange Bang could be found anywhere. Yep. But as successful as it was, just a bang of orange wasn't the end of the line. By the early 80s, Fox began experimenting with other types of Bang with the Pina Colada Bang and the Strawberry Bang, but then came the unbanged fruits, pink lemonade. Yep. That's a fruit, right? Mango, punch, orange, non-bang, lemon, peach, grape, cranberry, and raspberry.
I don't mess with that.
Then what? When an Orange Bang is right there, I'm not getting cranberry.
Oh, yeah, no. Okay, the debate is...
What do I have, a UTI?
Maybe I do.
Maybe I do. I'm still going to drink an Orange Bang.
I'll worry about the UTI later. I want an Orange Bang.
When I'm peeing out the Orange Bang.
When I'm peeing a bunch of sewing needles out.
Frothy sewing needles.
The debate is never between any of the other Orange Bangs. It's always like horchata or Orange Bang. Okay, that's the final fight.
Let me get to that.
Okay.
Then they added a game changer yet again with their Olay line of drinks serving Jamaica, Tamarindo, and horchata, which... I'm with you. I would argue that is just as iconic as the Orange Bang is.
Yeah. That is a full-on, like, hands on my hips. They're waiting for me to finish the order. I'm just like, oh, I don't know. Can you mix them together?
No, never mind. Already burnt.
Yeah.
It's like a Pepsi and Coke thing within one company.
Yes.
They're both delicious.
Yeah.
And Fox attributes a lot of his sustained success to the Latino population of LA who took to the Olay line of flavors. Like you and me. Like you and people who think I am.
Like people who think that I am and people who you think you are.
People who see my last name and think one thing and then they see your skin and think another thing.
Orange Bangs, I mean, they were burger spot places, but also like Mexican food places were like little burrito shacks.
Those are the burrito places, burger places. Yeah. Like that's where you're going to find an Orange
counters.
Bang. Order at the counter places.
Yeah, order at the counter places.
All the drinks use all natural ingredients, and the Bangs use real fruit juice, eggs whites, and non-fat milk. And apparently, they were the first drinks to introduce liquid concentrates for whipped beverages in bottles, which is something I don't understand.
I don't know, but I'm proud.
They had a local competitor for a while in Orange Whip, which came out of Commerce, which for a while it was like a regional Coke versus Pepsi, but of local frothy orange drinks. But I don't think Orange Whip can still be found anywhere, and I challenge any of you to prove me wrong. But I remember Orange Whip also, but why am I going to get an Orange Whip?
I remember I guess I have no memories. I know that it was sold, and I saw the words. I thought, okay, but I have no memory of the way I have Orange Bang.
Why would I get let's put down Shasta again. Why would I get a Shasta when there's a Coke dispenser?
Okay, it was funny for the intro. I won't allow it here. Please? Thank you.
That was under the guise of satire?
Yeah. I can't criminally charge you because it falls under the arts, but this is serious talk. Please don't do that.
This podcast is technically not considered art, so people have made that very clear because the singularity and all that.
People very much don't consider this comedy, so it can't fall under the arts.
But just like the guy who created it, the Orange Bang wasn't content to stay only in LA. It started being sold...
Banging across this country.
He banged his way. He banged his way to Chicago.
He banged in Biloxi. I can't think of a single other B play. He banged in
In
Buffalo.
Boston. He banged. It started being sold nationwide, and in its prime in the 80s, they were selling about 600,000 cups of Orange Bang a day.
All to his daughter and their friends.
They were addicted now.
They could not stop.
We forgot to mention it's addicting. And you don't sell 600,000 cups of anything a day without Pepsi noticing. Pepsi almost bought Orange Bang, but it didn't work out. But you don't almost get bought by Pepsi without Coca-Cola noticing. Yes. And that was a problem.
That's like, I'm getting chased by a Star Cruiser. Not a big deal. And then you fall under the Death Stars.
That's no corporation. That's no friendly corporation.
That's the Mickey Mouse of sodas.
Which again, we're recording in the same park. We're right by Disney again. So, I'm the Coca-Cola.
Did someone say Orange Bang here?
Me? I like to drink proprietary Disney fluids. Which Coca-Cola is like a constant villain through all three of my stories. Yeah. Or at least two of them. There's no better testament to how well Orange Bang was doing at the time than the fact that Coca-Cola was afraid of Orange Bang.
Right. Yeah, the clinking the bottles in the factory.
They were so afraid that one year at the National Restaurant Convention in Chicago, Coca-Cola representatives were handing out pamphlets called How to Compete Against Orange Bang.
Wow.
Like they were that concerned that this was like they've been afraid of nothing. And all of a sudden, like this might be the one that kills me.
They've been a steamroller and Orange Bang is a huge pothole.
You can't steamroll a pothole. Coca-Cola even went so far as to make restaurants who sold Coca-Cola products sign a contract saying that if they sold Coke products, they could not also sell competitors, which was taken to mean you can't sell Orange Bang if you're selling Coca-Cola.
Is that why I can't go to a 5-star restaurant and get Orange Bang? Is that why?
Yeah, that's why. Sure. The 5-star restaurant wants to draw as few comparisons as possible to Tony's Charbroiled Burger number 4 on Sepulveda Boulevard.
They both begrudgingly make me burgers. What's the problem?
They both look at me weird when I ask for too much ketchup. So Fox took it to mean, oh, they're targeting me specifically. So he took legal action against Coca-Cola, alleging they staged a cabal to stunt Orange Bang from really ascending to that Coke Pepsi level of soda stardom.
The judge came in wiping soda off his lips. He's gassy. Anyways, Coke, whatever they want.
I like to buy That's his ringtone. I don't know how the lawsuit ended, but I do know Orange Bang never reached that level and Coca-Cola is doing just fine.
Yeah.
So I think Coca-Cola won. But the biggest legal battle Orange Bang had to face revolved not around the drink itself, but the machine that it came out of.
Oh,
You just put your sunglasses on when I said the biggest battle it's ever had to face.
Yep.
And then you clicked a button. And pyrotechnics are going off.
Bang, bang,
bang, bang, bang. She, bang, bang, bang. I don't know why, but all 3 of my stories revolve around lawsuits.
That's weird.
Which is kind of interesting. Like, I was not expecting the stories to go that way, but they're all, like, interesting lawsuits.
That's so funny.
The Orange Bang machines that I remember as a kid were iconic.
Yeah.
If you remember them?
I remember them, yeah.
They had a big glass for all the post 9/11 children listening to
Who
us.
don't even remember terror on that day. They'll never understand waiting for the Saturday Night Live that week. What are they going to talk about? Rudy Giuliani was a shining beacon of hope at one point.
They'll never understand how much we used to look up to Rudy Giuliani. They'll just never get it. You know, it's funny. I was looking through my stuff, and I guess I had like sent a letter to Rudy Giuliani.
Oh my God.
And I found in my closet when I was looking through my stuff, like a letter from Rudy Giuliani's office. He thanks you so much for your support.
Oh, your never-ending support no matter what you do.
And that's binding. See you at the upholstery store.
See you at the Four Seasons.
So for those who don't remember, they had a big glass container on the top that showed the drink being continuously slushed around, and then there was a dispenser that you got it out of. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's making me so thirsty.
Oh my God.
Here's the thing, like you could order like a small Orange Bang and be fine, but if you're like, I want an Orange Bang so bad, I want a medium or a large, you're not going to finish that Orange Bang.
It's a filling drink.
It's so it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, and it's something you have with like a side, like I'm just gonna get fries and maybe some onion rings. I'll have.
Do not order a hamburger and an Orange Bang.
Double cheeseburger.
Could I get the quiche Laurent and a Orange Bang at my 5-star restaurant?
Yeah, I'll have half a chicken,
roasted fingerling potatoes,
and a tall Orange Bang.
Yeah, asparagus almondine, and an Orange Bang. or should I get the horchata? This type of dispenser is called a bubbler, but it was not. It was not. Yeah, bubbler. It was not unique to Orange Bang though. It had been around for other drinks because seeing the liquid in that transparent container was proven to get more people to buy the drink you were selling. So a lot of companies use that. The problem was those bubblers had to be cleaned every single day or else the drink would go rotten.
Oh, wow.
Solution, clean it every day. Problem, nobody wants to do that. So restaurant workers wouldn't be cleaning them and the drinks in them would start going bad and looking like you'd see like mold and stuff.
Yeah.
So Fox's solution to this problem in the mid-'80s was to invent a version of this that took up less space and was easier to clean so Orange Bang would never be sold rotten to people. However, a challenger entered the fray, the nefarious imposter known as Juicy Whip.
I don't even know who that is, but I'm mad.
You might be thinking, when you're thinking of Orange Whip, you might be thinking of Juicy Whip because they were around also. I remember they're based in Laverne and mostly do Laverne, and they mostly do horchata and tamarindo, but they were also selling their drinks in bubblers around town. And I hate to give it to them, they came up with a way better solution to the cleaning problem.
Just drink it all.
Sell it all. Be better salesman. What's the problem? Instead of having the actual drink inside the bubbler, the machine would work just like a regular soda machine with the drink drink in pouches inside or however that's done. And a clear bubbler would sit on the top of that, churning what looked like the drink you were about to buy, but it was actually just water dyed the color of the drink you're about to buy, and it never had to be clean.
Wow, that's clever.
So you weren't actually drinking that, but you were getting the drink you thought you were drinking.
Oh,
well done.
Juicy Whip, huh?
Yeah. Suddenly, I've changed the alliances.
My tongue is realigning now from a bang to a whip.
Two very aggressive ways.
Ooh, what's a lemon kick to the mouth? That's good.
A strawberry football to the groin. My favorite summer drink.
Oh, a Chevy Drop House.
Could I order a chocolate drive-by? And so, well done, Juicy Whip. You misled countless children all around LA. They called this the Tower Max, and they got a patent for it on November 19th, 1996. And the next day, they sued Orange Bang.
Whoa.
Why?
Yeah.
Because Orange Bang also started using this much better version of bubbler at around the same time they did, but Fox claimed that he had invented it in 1988, but didn't feel it was patentable because it was basically the same thing as designs that already existed.
Okay.
So he thought he had the right to use this.
Yeah.
Juicy Whip. Whoosh.
Yeah.
That's their lawyer walking through the door.
Their Texan lawyer, the judge, also doesn't have a gavel. He has a whip, too. Order!
Order. I will lasso this whole courtroom.
Get on, little doggy.
Get on, little jury. So Orange Bang was back in court, and he looked great. And it should be noted, Juicy Whip had been distributing thousands of these bubblers for Powerade and High C, who were owned by, you guessed it,
Oh, no.
Coca-Cola.
Monster.
And this legal battle lasted for 9 years. First, a U.S. District Court in L.A. found that Orange Bang was in fact infringing on Juicy Whip's patent, but that their patent wasn't valid to begin with.
Oh.
Then 2 years later, the Federal Circuit Court
It's
of
just a bunch of
Appeals...
sketch drawings. It's like when George Romero thought he could put the copyright logo on the title screen and that covered it. They're like, no, there's paperwork.
I could mail this DVD to myself and I'm fine. 2 years later, the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals in Washington, D.C. reversed this decision. Then there was another trial in L.A. where Juicy Whip was awarded $750,000 in unpaid royalties from Orange Bang. But then Juicy Whip took it even further in 2005 and got another $440,000 in lost damages from Orange Bang, which ended the legal battle once and for all. It cost both sides millions of dollars in legal fees.
Yeah.
And one of the judges said, instead of behaving like rational business competitors, Juicy Whip and Orange Bang have allowed their emotions to reign. This was a run-of-the-mill patent case which assumed mythical proportions only in the minds of the parties.
No! Oh, that hurts. That hurts me, and this is long done.
You delusional juice sellers.
It's juice. We could both agree. Everyone agrees that it's a juice.
Mine's Whip.
I got bad.
I trademarked all onomatopoeias. Justifying why he did all this, Fox simply said, we had to defend ourselves.
Yeah, okay.
So Orange Bang...
It's like, do you want an orange Hatfield or orange McCoy? Which one sounds good to you?
So Orange Bang, from then on, was barred from selling their drinks in clear bubblers, which is why now you'll see them in regular soda dispensers with a lit-up Orange Bang logo on top of it. That's how you'll see them, like a circular sort of thing, shaped like an orange, I guess. Orange Bang Inc. is still going strong. Their factory is at 13115 Telfar Avenue in Sylmar, right across the 5 from the reservoir, which is,
really,
as I've been saying to everybody on 4chan, the reservoir is filled with Orange Bang.
4chan thinks that it's code. Somehow run by QAnon. I don't know. I'm just talking about Orange Bang Reservoir.
I'm just talking about frothy orange drinks.
It's not an allusion to Trump, I swear.
The exact recipe and how it's done is kept a secret, but we do know that the drinks are made in 8-foot-tall vats that can hold 1,500 gallons of frothy heaven. Pre-COVID, they were doing about $6.5 million a year in sales, but that was cut in half over the past year.
Yeah,
and a lot of these small casual places, they were sold and went out of business completely. So who knows, who knows what's going to happen. And Fox himself is still involved in the company, and he's, I think, 95 years old right now.
Did I make a face when he said 95? I didn't mean, I don't believe in ageism, but
you made a face and then slicked your hair back and started doing a yo-yo saying, I'm so young, forever
I'll
young.
live forever.
As long as I drink Orange Bangs. He used to run it all with his wife and 2 of his daughters, but it seems now mostly that it's run today by his daughter, Terry. He used to drive around town with a license plate that said Mr. Bang, and his wife said Mrs. Bang.
Yes, all of this I'm okay with.
He was always being followed by a car that said Senior Whip. He believes the main reason Orange Bang has survived so long is because it was in so many different unconnected small
Yes.
places, local places, rather than only being sold in one giant chain of restaurants that would have dragged him down with them had they gone under.
Therefore, had a secret treat quality to it. Like, oh, this place has Orange Bang, so when you saw it, you got excited, as opposed to expecting it all the time.
Yeah. So as long as Orange Bang is sold in even one small charbroiled burger place, they will always live on until Juicy Whip makes them stop.
Until Coca-Cola finally gets its head together and crushes them. That's fascinating.
Yeah, it's Orange Bang. It's something I never thought about before, but it's such a specifically local thing.
Yeah.
Which I guess it's in other places.
I mean, I didn't know that it was
I've never seen it anywhere else. But
oh, you've been to other places.
I've been to at least 2 other places.
Yeah, I've been to
Barstow.
I accidentally went to Arizona one time, so.
They didn't have it at the Sorbonne when I was in France. So, the Sorbonne.
The Louvre didn't have it for some reason. And I asked everybody.
Bong l'Orange? Could I get an order of Bong l'Orange?
If it was called that, it would have for sure been in a French restaurant today. It would have been served in a champagne glass or something.
Could I get the pot de feu and Bong l'Orange? But yeah, it's delicious. It's so good. But yeah, it's a every once in a while sort of treat.
Yeah.
It'll get you. So what do you have for us?
I'm maybe talking about a little innocent company who's just trying to make a couple bucks in this crazy world.
No matter who they have to sue.
And an insane building in our midst. I'm going to be talking about the Coke Boat, or as it's traditionally called, the Coca-Cola Building at 1334 South Central Avenue. Older papers freely called it the Coke Boat long before Wolf of Wall Street.
The Coke Boat. What I do in the bathroom of Flappers.
Being on any boat with Joe Rogan. The Coke Boat.
The name of Joe Rogan's yacht.
If you aren't familiar with the Coca-Cola Building, let me describe it to you. It's a large ocean liner-themed building built in the middle of industrial downtown Los Angeles.
It's streamlined modernity.
It's one of the many streamlined modern marvels in Los Angeles that stems from the 1930s, and it's astounding that we have been allowed to keep it intact for as long as we have.
Yeah. Well, I guess you'll get into it, but is it still like churning out Coke?
They're not a bottling plant.
Am I still churning out Coke?
If I drink a bunch of Coke, do I pee Pepsi?
That's how you make Pepsi.
Did I tell you that
peed out Coke?
my godfather, my Nino, worked for, when I was growing up, 7-Up. So I went to the 7-Up bottling plant when I was a kid.
Grow up 7-Up?
He worked for Heads Up 7-Up. Big Heads Up 7-Up. He worked for 7-Up when I was growing up. So I went to a bottling plant when I was a kid, and he gave me a bunch of the tops, the silver, whatever they're called. So I got a bunch of those, just like spare push rings. But I remember walking around the plant, and the floor was sticky everywhere. I remember that. And then he left there, and I think he worked for Coke afterwards.
Traitor.
It was a heartbreak because I loved 7-Up. And he's like, I'm going to work for Coke now. I'm like, oh, I like Coke less.
Can you stop being my godfather?
So let's go back and talk about the man behind the Coke Boat, the Coca-Cola cruise ship, if you were. The architect is one Robert Dara of Salt Lake City. Just before he worked on the
A place that won't allow Coke.
They won't allow Coke.
Any kind of Coke.
Pick one and they won't allow it. Just before he worked on the Coca-Cola Building, he designed his other thing. Just before he worked on the Coca-Cola Building, he designed the Crossroads of the World in Hollywood.
Oh, really?
One of the first open-air malls in the country. Crossroads of the World was owned by Alla Crawford, wife of the notorious gangster type Charles Crawford, the Grey Wolf, who was gunned down in a restaurant on that lot, and then she built the Crossroads of the World. This guy designed
That's his tombstone.
Yeah.
Those are two impressive buildings.
Very impressive and very different. So he has his portfolio has a good look to it. I could do this or I could do that.
We're all about resumes and portfolios right now.
I think, doesn't the Crossroads kind of have a ship theme to it too?
It does. I think the windows are kind of like curved and bubbly.
Like portholes or something.
Your porthole.
Stop. Not in front of everybody. In front of all my friends, the dog and that kid.
The rabbit squirrel.
Yeah. Robert Dara was born in SLC in April of 1895. That's
SLC.
Salt Lake City.
Oh.
The C stands for Coke, remember? Dara was the son of a prominent railroad man, S.V. Dara, who worked at the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad.
The V stands for Coke.
The Denver also somehow stands for Coke. I don't know how. Robert's aunt was also a well-known Texas railroad woman named Avery Turner, who was an executive at the Santa Fe Railroad, and her and her husband's house is like one of those like preserved spots in Texas that you can go visit now.
Like the Alamo?
Like the Alamo, yeah. But anyways, her nephew came to L.A. and made a big ship in the middle of downtown. Dara was a graduate of the Massachusetts Institute of Technology and Harvard, receiving degrees in architecture from both of them. So he comes to Los Angeles in 1924 at the age of 29 and quickly establishes his architecture firm, Dara and Associates, in Beverly Hills, where he also lives on Smithwood Drive, not too far from Roxbury Park. I wrote that down. I looked it up. No idea what that means.
You looked it up and you just found Night at the Roxbury?
His name is attached to many famous buildings in Los Angeles. Not necessarily the chief architect, but his name is sort of like attached in different ways. the Acme Brewery in Vernon, which is closed, the Southern California Gas Company #1 building at 800 Flower Street, and some unconfirmed buildings which he may had something to do with. I'm not quite sure, but the sound stages at RKO Studios, his name's attached to that. The early Disney animation building on Hyperion, Charlie Chaplin's house, the Wilshire Brown Derby, and he also he had a patent for a juice squeezer. Do you know anything about this?
No.
He had a patent for a juice squeezer.
I know who can sue him about that, though.
I know a certain judge would take umbrage with him. But it seems like his first big project was for Stanley Barbie, president of the Coca-Cola Company of Southern California.
That's confusing. That's like, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I'm, to use Yo-Yo again, I'm Dennis Yo-Yo. Yeah. I make Slinkies.
I'm Joseph G.I. Joe.
I am G.I. Joseph. And I sell hula hoops.
For those who need a one-sentence refresher, in 1886, a pharmacist, Dr. John Pemberton, sold the first glass of Coca-Cola in Jacob's Pharmacy in downtown Atlanta. And by 1892, the Coca-Cola Company was founded and since then has tried to take over the world. One soda with cocaine in it at a time.
One lawsuit against a much smaller company at a time. And that's how you amass wealth.
You build an octopus-type corporation in America and you just crush everything. And then people in other countries are like, I want to go to America.
I'd love to go to
and
America.
Start Ford. Now, the bottling building at 1334 South Central Avenue at the corner of 14th and South Central dates back to 1915, but Stanley Barbie was looking to renovate and consolidate the 4 existing buildings. There was a brick office building, a production warehouse, and then like various other warehouse buildings, and he wanted to put them all into one structure. So after Stanley Barbie saw the marvelous Crossroads of the World design, he knew he wanted Dara for the Coca-Cola building.
So it was already a building, but he like slapped a boat on it?
Yeah, it was 4 buildings. See, I kind of know what the inside looks like. I'm pretty sure it's not like a boat and then 4 buildings inside. I'm pretty sure he's like, okay, knock these buildings down, let's consolidate into one. Let's try to reconfigure things and put it all into one big boat. That won't go near the water.
You're going to need a bigger boat building. That's all I have to say about that.
Man goes into Coke. Coke goes into the bottle.
Coke goes into body. Pepsi comes out of body.
Anyways, both Crossworlds and the Coca-Cola building were both done in 1936, which is crazy that we got the 2 big landmarks that are still around today, but the same person in the same year.
Both landmarks, by the way, that don't get a lot of respect.
Right.
Crosswords of the World gets... What did I say? Crosswords of the Words? Yeah. Crosswords of the Puzzle. They get more because they're in They're like right there.
So it's like a tourist stop, but I don't see people walking through it as much.
No, but like what tourist is driving by this neighborhood?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people stumble upon it like, what?
Was there like a tsunami?
Is this the Queen Mary? So why an ocean liner? What does bottling Coca-Cola have to do with a boat or the ocean or the sea? Many think the design is humorous and lump it in with the wacky Southern California.
Like they think about us.
Yeah.
Like people think about us with that saying.
Exactly. They look at us and they're like, oh, humorous.
They think.
Humorous. Not impractical, humorous. It's all satire.
They're satyrs.
The satyrs.
They're not satirical. They're satyrs.
So people lump it in, the Coca-Cola building, with like the California, it's called programmatic themed architecture that we love. Like the Idle Hour is like a big barrel, or the big tamale that we talked about.
The donut's a big donut.
Donut's a big donut. Big donut. The building, here's the thing with the Coca-Cola building, it is that. Right?
Yeah.
But also,
what if it was a giant Coca-Cola bottle?
I thought about that, or like on its side.
But like the tallest building in the world, and it was a Coca-Cola
and it
bottle.
Also like had like a tallest thermometer in the world too.
The condensation caused like flooding of neighborhoods.
Sewer rats dying all the time. It is like that wacky programmatic architecture. It is that, but also it's one of the most elegantly designed examples of streamlined architecture. Right. But because of that, it exists in the middle area. It's too beautiful to be a Route 66 roadside architecture thing, and it's also too wacky and fun to be like the Richfield building or the Pan Pacific Auditorium. It's right in the middle.
Yeah. Again, like us, right in the middle.
Between elegantly designed and stupid.
Between practical and impractical.
Not only is the line blurry, we've blurred everything around us too.
We're the giant dog smoking a pipe that sells chili of podcasts.
We're like the painting of the dogs playing poker, but by like Picasso. So it's sort of like, it's a work of art, but
Picasso's version of dogs playing poker, which is for some reason now a painting we bring up in every single episode.
Yeah, it's now taken. Now that we've talked about the riots, we could bring up something else.
It's our new through line through all the episodes.
So we come back to the original question. So why an ocean liner? There is no documentation from Darrow or Barbie regarding this, but in 1985, 1985?
Great Scott.
Robert Dara's daughter, Betty Dara Jensen, wrote into the LA Times to clarify.
My dad liked boats. It's like a full page ad.
My dad watched every episode of The Love Boat and loved it. She wrote in because at some point someone had speculated that they chose the ocean liner because it lent the company to the image of purity. So she sent I don't know. Like when are boats, like, do you know how the ocean works?
Have they lived through coronavirus?
She sent a letter into the LA Times, which they published, correcting this. She said, first and foremost, that Stanley Barber was a weekend sailor.
And And a midnight toker. The Joker's back.
Yeah. Does he have a first name? When Barbie and Stanley Barbie, I keep saying his first name and his last name because I don't want you to get me. When Stanley Barbie asked Dara to suggest something for the design that would represent the utmost in cleanliness, Dara replied, an ocean liner, which is a weird thing to say, but okay. Is that true? I've never been on an ocean liner before. They seem kind of dirty.
I mean, swab the poop deck and all that.
Yeah.
That's a way to clean it.
God, 91 episodes, you've been dying to say that this whole time. But he says an ocean liner, and Barbie, Stanley Barbie, the weekend sailor.
Come on, Barbie. Let's go.
Let's go disco. I forget how that song goes.
Come on, Barbie. Let's go Pepsi. Nay. Let's
No.
go Coca-Cola.
But Stanley Barbie, the weekend sailor and boat lover, must have loved that idea when he replied that. And like that, we have a Coca-Cola bottling plant in industrial downtown Los Angeles looking like an ocean liner. As one LA writer put it, Dara and Barbie, avid yachtsmen, decided a ship motif would project the attributes which Coca-Cola sought to promote: modernity, cleanliness, and progress.
Modernity, Pfizerdity, Johnson & Johnsonity, AstraZeneca-erdity. Say it again.
No, you got it. Cut. Modernity, or is it modern? Yeah, modernity.
We've heard the term Moderna too many times.
Yeah,
We've
well, my brain is
before.
just like, give it to me. Modernity, cleanliness, and progress. Sure.
I'll buy it, and I will also buy Coke.
Oh, no
From
doubt.
a guy in the bathroom at Flappers.
Yeah, Flappers, who is insisting that it's going to make me funnier.
Look at me.
I haven't described the building yet other than as an ocean liner. So I went to the Society of Architectural Historians website. So they had a really good description of it, so I'll read it. Dara used reinforced concrete for the new facade with simulated rivets around the curved entryways and double rows of porthole windows that mimic an ocean liner. The flat roof is ornamented with a metal catwalk and railing. A Coca-Cola sign is expertly placed on the landlocked ship's bridge. The entire 150 by 200 foot 4-story high ship is painted nautical white with a street-level waterline band of black and an elegant, narrow, horizontal band of red a yard higher. The building's nautical theme is continued inside with lavish, I've seen pictures, it's great, inside with lavish details such as mahogany flooring and handrails. Actual ship ventilators, they brought actual ship ventilators, brass ladders and fittings, as well as the steel ship doors that lead to offices complete with a Hollywood-style simulacrum.
Simulacrum. I know that word. I don't know what that word means.
You know enough to correct me, but that's about it.
I know enough to make other people think I'm smart by making them feel dumb. I know the Necronomicon.
It was remodeled and expanded, and I believe in the mid-'60s and again in the '70s, but bigger bottling operations were moved out of that building and downtown LA and headed towards Downey and San Diego. In 2002, an article mentioned that the Central Avenue facility was still producing soft drinks in 2-liter and 20-ounce plastic bottles, so it's still an active building. Okay. Although it's kind of like Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. I never see anyone go in or out, but they tell me that it's still going.
You didn't enter the contest to find the golden Coke, where you buy a bottle of Coke, and if it comes out yellow,
you either won or lost.
Yeah, you find them on the freeway exits.
Yeah.
You just pick them up on the side of freeway exits, and if that Coke bottle comes out yellow, you get the keys to the factory.
The Coca-Cola bottling plant is not open to the public, not even for tours, but it's clearly visible from the street.
We see smoke coming out of the chimneys.
Yeah, and if a man comes up to you in an alleyway, trust him.
Which is basically a Coca-Cola Pepsi story.
Yeah. He's going to come up to you. He's going to stop you. Somehow he knows that you won. He's going to lean in and he's going to say, I'd like to buy the world a Coke. It was designated a Los Angeles Historical Cultural Monument in 1975. So please, take a trip down Central Avenue, not only for jazz, not only for history, but to see an ocean liner.
To see a boat in the middle of a city. There's something, I mean, Coca-Cola, ice cold Coke, a boat, iceberg, Titanic.
Right.
Something bad's going to happen.
The connections are clear as day. And they say, I'm having a premonition. I've been speaking in tongues.
And they keep calling it the unsinkable building. Prove it.
The unsinkable company. They keep saying that to me. Oh, yeah? Well, I have my friend Guy Fawkes over here. I forgot his first name. I have Guy Fawkes from Orange Bang over here.
Let's all put on our David Fox masks and take down Coke once and for all.
So that's been the innocent little company that's Coca-Cola in their building.
And boy, are they great, and we won't hear anything bad about them for the rest of this episode. That's a very LA thing of like, we're going to sell Coca-Cola, and it's going to be shaped like something that doesn't apply to it. Par for the course with architecture.
Are you going to put it in a hip part of town? No, one of the scariest, grimiest parts of town, right outside of the Flower District.
It's a nice building to have around. It is surprising that it's still there, but as long as Coke is produced in there, no one's going to touch it.
Oh, they knocked down that Disney building is words you'll never hear.
Yeah. So here we go to my next one. Pop. Bop, pop, dot, pop. That's a Minnesota cover band of Hansen singing about Hansen soda, which is what I'm going to be talking about.
I'm going to go. You can do this by yourself. I don't care. I cannot sit next to you.
Is that a Hansen song? So this is a story about the soda anyone who was trying to diet in the 90s remembers that has a twist ending that I never saw coming. You're not going to believe how this story ends. You will not believe it.
Okay.
And no, it isn't a twist of lime. The story of Hansen's soda. You're never going to see that. I could not believe what I was reading. You're never going to see this coming.
I've officially strapped into my serape, so
buckle up your serape. The story of Hansen's begins with a man named Hubert Hansen. Apparently, nothing is known about this man.
I bet you're going to be like, oh, his last name was Holmes. Hubert Hansen Holmes. He built a castle in Chicago. Have you heard of him?
Originally, it wasn't soda he was drinking.
He made soda by mistake by boiling someone's hand in acid. He's like, I could drink this.
This is delicious. Good thing the World Fair's right down the street. Apparently, nothing is known about this man other than that in 1935, he opened a castle. He opened a juice stand called Hansen's Fruit and Vegetable Juices that he ran with his 3 sons.
Okay.
Which was his sitcom.
3 sons who formed Hansen?
My 3 blonde sons. Eventually, it was just called Hansen's Juices and then the Fresh Juice Company of California. But whatever he called it, he was slinging juice.
Yeah.
They had your orange, your apple, carrot, strawberry, and banana. But what he really had was a great location because he was right near the studios in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. So his main clientele were people who worked in the studios.
Right.
So like Clark Gable comes by. Right. Give me some banana.
Max Factor comes by, barely speaking English.
But that was the worst Clark Gable impression.
It wasn't good, but also I can't remember what Clark Gable sounds like.
So maybe it is a
Frankly,
good impression.
my dear.
Frankly, my dear, I don't like carrot juice. So that influential customer base, your let's think of another celebrity who would come in 1935.
Let's see, you got a Myrna Loy, you got a William Powell. Those are my 2.
Judy Garland would come by and
she'd be shaking from hysteria.
She'd be shaking it, and then she'd get an apple juice, and then the head of MGM would come by and knock it out of her hand and.
What did I tell you? Where's your watcher? Where's Eddie Mannix right now?
Where are those munchkins? So that influential customer base and his innovative combining of different juice flavors gave Hansen a certain degree of success that allowed him to open his own juice-making plant in LA in 1946, which allowed him to make 35,000 gallons of juice a week, which allowed him to market his juice nationwide. So he was selling juice nationwide. This same plant was still in use until 1993 when they moved to Azusa, which is a city that keeps coming up, and I keep, for some reason, not pronouncing it right. It's Azusa.
You got it. It's not hard. Azusa.
John Philip Sousa. I got it. However, this is not quite the Hansen you're familiar with. Now I am going to talk to you about the band.
Yeah.
Hubert's fine, but have you tried the guy who sounds like an evil twin of Jim Henson, Tim Hansen? In 1997, Tim Hansen, who is Hubert's grandson, branched off from the main Hansen brand to start Hansen Foods.
Okay.
He was still selling fruit juices, mostly apple, but he was packaging and pasteurizing them so that they could sit on a shelf in a store and say fresh, which was a game changer for the Hansen juice family. Like they could be sold on a store weeks later now. But not even that was as big as the next big thing to come to the Hansen name, soda. Okay. Soda pop.
Carbonated beverages.
Carbonated, a word that Coca-Cola is going to sue us for saying.
You didn't say bubbly, did you? I'll see you in court.
You didn't burp, did you? You've been served.
Let me smell it. Yeah, you're in trouble.
Tim Hansen decided to step away from juice and launch the Hansen's Natural Sodas line with flavors like cherry vanilla, root beer, ginger ale, kiwi strawberry, orange, cola, not Coca-Cola, grapefruit, key lime, mandarin lime, pomegranate, vanilla, cola. This was around the early 80s, and they became known for their flavors, but also their marketing campaigns and their packaging. But all the fruit flavoring and razzle-dazzle still wasn't enough to cut it against the big boys, and in 1988, the company went bankrupt.
Okay.
Their factory was bought by Tropicana, and then in January 1990, they themselves were bought by California Co-Packers Corporation, so the Hansen soda lived on, and then they were given the second of their 3 lives by the almighty savior who comes for us all, health food trends from the 90s.
Yes. Oh my.
Oh yes, baby.
They got us to do anything.
Cue our 90s montage.
Oh my God.
Here's what I've got. Britney Spears looks like a child and is singing in a red room. The Blink-182 album cover with the nurse putting on a glove. Tommy Pickles squirts his bottle at the camera. O.J. Simpson's in the news. Pogs.
Enough for touchdowns this time.
He touched down a little too hard. It was more than just a touch. Pogs. The first 150 Pokemon invade Iraq. The Northridge earthquake makes me wet the bed. Matt Zombo will not leave me alone. And yes, America can smell what The Rock is cooking.
Rollerblading and pastel colors. Nirvana is the biggest thing ever for a little bit.
A little. Nirvana's going strong until it isn't.
Flannel. Curly, gross, wet hair.
Tom Hanks, just unimpeachable.
Several different clips from Sabotage, the Beastie Boys music video. And we're caught up.
That's the 90s, everybody.
I'm pretty sure you snuck in a couple early 2000s, which is, I mean, you were like a little baby by then. I was a full grown man. So.
What was the early 2000s? Name one.
I think Blink-182 was early 2000s.
No way. They started in the 90s. They had to.
I don't know when Dude Ranch came out.
Look, I'll take you to court on this, but I'm pretty sure Blink-182 started in the 90s.
I'll give you cutoff 1999.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah, take it.
And I'm counting 2000 as the 90s. It's a whole millennium thing. It's the 91st episode. So early on in the 90s, eating natural, healthy, quote-unquote, food became once again the big trend, and that extended to beverages.
Zima. Make mine a Zima. Was that the? I know from a bunch of movies where people have been in clubs like make mine. Yeah, I'll have a Zima, but that's how you knew he's a douchebag because he has a ponytail.
We're back to Night at the Roxbury, which might have been early 2000s.
You tell me Will Ferrell's in it, and I don't believe you, and I have to be like, oh yeah.
You're forgetting Chris Kattan, Greg, which could also be added to the 90s montage. Chris, I could have just said, and welcome to the 90s, Chris Kattan and Chris Kattan. So everyone wants healthy food. They all want their Zima. This paved the way for the rise of what were known as New Age drinks.
Okay.
That basically meant any healthy sounding alternative to Coke or Pepsi, even if they weren't actually healthy. Your iced teas, your flavored waters, and of course, your natural sodas, the niche that Hansen's had already carved out for itself. Yeah. This was a godsend for the struggling Hansens because now everyone wanted their inferior tasting soda because it seemed healthier. And I drank a lot of Hansens the 90s. And, not now, but like back then, I was drinking a lot of Hansens. But maybe I was drinking Diet Hansens.
That's even worse. That's just like water?
It kind of was just like seltzer, basically.
Yeah, they just shook water really hard and let you drink it.
They shook water and it bumped up against an orange. I think maybe the non-diet ones had a better taste, but it's a specific taste.
Is that why you're better than me?
One of the reasons. Yeah.
One of many reasons.
And I knew what a simulacrum was pronounced as.
Great, what is it? Nah, we don't have time.
I'm too good to talk about it. I'm too sexy for simulacrum. 90s. And Hansen's leaned into this by marketing themselves to seem way healthier than they actually were. But the other guys put out as much competition as they could to steal the throne from Hansen's. Coke put out Nordic Mist. Do you remember that?
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember Nordic Mist? No. It was like a Sprite almost.
Okay.
Pepsi put out Crystal Pepsi, but the king of all the New Age drinks was none other. Can you guess what it was? Knowing what a New Age drink is and what we've been referencing for the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, God, a New Age drink. It would be
a healthy sounding thing everyone was drinking in the 90s.
I can't think of it.
Snapple.
Oh my God, you're right. Pop the top. There's a question or a factoid.
Snapple was like, that was the thing.
You're right.
As much Diet Hansen's I was drinking way more Snapple. It certainly wasn't drinking Nordic Mist. Hansen's marketed itself as a California favorite to further capture the health conscious image that California has. Yeah. And using a healthy seeming region was unique to them. Nordic Mist, clearly Canadian, which was the sparkling water thing. Yeah. Deliciously Detroit. No one sold that. No one drank that. Don't sue me, Coca-Cola. So this whole gimmick that Hansen's was a healthy soda was working, even though it wasn't actually that healthy. It was soda. Like, it's not soda isn't healthy no matter what.
It's rotting your teeth and it's bad for you.
Yeah, take that back. Shut up and take that back. They were still using high fructose corn syrup all the way until 2008 when the FDA said that if you used high fructose corn syrup, you can't use the label natural. So only then did they switch to cane sugar, which still isn't good for you. Their new life
is good.
But it is good for me. Their new life allowed them to expand in 1993 into the Midwest, where to make it more appealing to that lifestyle,
they put a gun in it. No, I'm thinking of the South.
They put a
Bible in it.
Yeah, just fill it with milk and people will drink the hell out of that.
Got a floating Bible in it, so
little Bible ice cubes. They started marketing 23-ounce glass bottles of Hansen's because out there they like to drink a lot of soda and they like to see it when they drink it. In 1994, they expanded into the UK, who kicked them out in 1997 because they didn't like it. And then in 1999, they went to Canada. In July 1994, they doubled down on their health-conscious image and started doing their Equator line of drinks, which were based around having an eco-friendly image with all the proceeds going to Earth Day, whatever that means. That was the name of the CEO. That was his dummy account, which they thought would appeal to the younger crowd. It didn't, and that didn't last long. Then in late 1995, they released their smoothie drinks, if you remember those.
Not really.
They were like canned smoothies.
Hansen's canned smoothies?
Hansen smoothies.
No two words put together with such poetry than canned smoothies.
Nothing just incites your taste buds. Just pop in a aluminum container full of chunked fruit. Nothing sounds more delicious
When
than
it gets
that.
warm, it tastes like vomit. Or it feels like vomit re-entering your mouth.
Which I think I might have had in the 90s in like an emergency backpack was like a can, because it's like, that'll keep you full. Ugh. Drink a canned Hansen smoothie. They were not quite as thick as a smoothie, but thick enough to make me nauseous whenever I had one. This gave them a much needed boost in sales because smoothies were also big again at this time. And these had herbal additives in them like Snapple did, but were different enough in taste to a Snapple, so it was something new for people. Then in early 1997, they started doing what they called functionals, which were drinks that had a lot of added vitamins in them and were marketed specifically for being good for your health.
Okay.
What these basically were energy drinks, which brings us to the third incarnation of Hansen's and the insane twist that I was teasing.
Okay.
Over the next few years, they made more and more of these functionals and came up with new recipes until 2002. They finally hit it. They got their recipe just right. They got just the right energy drink, but the mad scientists up in Hansenstein's castle had gotten so far away from nature with this drink that they had to completely rebrand the whole company of what they were doing.
Whoa.
This drink was going to be energetic. This drink was going to be extreme. This was going to be a monster.
You're kidding me.
Hansen Soda had created what they described as the meanest energy supplement on the planet, Monster Energy Drink.
Oh my
was made
God.
by what we were drinking in that health conscious thing in the 90s. Created
That's
Monster
wild.
Energy. It's insane. It's a monster. I couldn't believe it. It was crazy.
I'm trying to come up with a perfect analogy for that. I'm blanking.
I don't think I could come up with one either.
Of like, it's not even twins with DeVito and
No.
Tristan. It's not even that.
The best thing I have is that it was made by the Opie Taylor of soda was Monster Energy Drink.
What's the guy who breaks windows? In Mayberry, he breaks windows and he laughs.
I forget his
T. Bass.
Oh yeah, Ernest T. Bass. Opie grew up to be Ernest T. Bass. It's unbelievable. It's unfathomable that they created this and then like wholly embraced it. And all of the like, well, come on down and drink some nice Hansens. We're made of only the good stuff too. Like, we're just a guitar solo incarnate. Liquid bass pedals.
What do you like? Car crashes? Fine.
We got it. We got it in an aluminum can. As we all know and lived through this, Monster Energy Drink was and still is huge. Yeah. The Monster Energy Drink was so much more popular than anything Hansen's had ever done before. Yes. It made them tons of money and was so completely opposite of all their previous products and marketing. I still can't believe that they're responsible for it. Yeah. And because it was so successful, they poured a ton of money into promoting Monster to draw business away from their main competitor that popped up, which was Red Bull. Right. They also faced competition from our old pals Coke and Pepsi, with Coke putting out Rockstar. Yeah. And Pepsi doing Sobe, if you remember those.
I remember Sobe.
I kind of liked Sobe.
I don't really remember much about it. It was like an iced tea, like a canned iced tea.
Yeah, it was an energy thing, but it was almost like a thick iced tea.
Okay.
Sobe's long gone, but Rockstar's still around.
Yeah.
But, Monster became such the lion's share of Hansen's business that in 2012 they renamed the entire company from Hansen's Natural to Monster Beverage Corporation.
Say that sentence again. Maybe just the last part.
They renamed the entire company from Hansen's Natural to Monster Beverage Core. And the core stand for like your abs, like your core muscles. They were selling Monster Energy in over 114 countries, but Monster was not without its controversy. Lots of people had sued them because, as they claimed, the drink was so extreme that they got a stroke after they drank one of them, or their dad died after drinking one or something like that. Yeah. The entire country of India banned them because the ingredients were like contradictory. Like there's things that are supposed to relax you and then make you crazy in them. So like, we don't want this.
Like I remember that was the first, I was pretty young and it was the first instance of chest pain. I'm like, oh my, this is awful.
That's the rite of passage when you drink
their
a Monster
logo is
Energy.
chest pain.
It's a guy. It's Hubert Hansen clutching his chest, vomiting blood.
Lurched over.
Monster itself, they sue a ton of people. They sue random places that happen to name their product Monster or Beast or anything relating to that whole vibe. And not even just sodas. Like one restaurant had something called Monster Nachos or something, and they got sued by Monster Energy. Like they're just suing everybody.
Forrest Pickett's getting sued.
Let him try to stop his mashing of monsters. They
call it the Spectre Stomp.
Which I wouldn't be surprised if that was, he did the Transylvania twist. But the weirdest one is they sued a group of fish enthusiasts called Monster Fish Keepers, and they sued them. Apparently, they filed more cases with the U.S. trademark courts than any other company ever.
Wow.
I
they
mean,
really are monster of litigation.
It's Hansen's Monster is their official name.
Yeah.
Who's the real monster? Along the way with this success, they absorbed the Blue Sky natural beverage company, Junior Juice, if you remember that from from your childhood, and Peace Tea. But in 2015, they themselves sold the Hansen's brand to our old foe, Coca-Cola, for $2.5 billion, but they kept Monster for themselves.
Okay.
So Coca-Cola, believe it or not, Coca-Cola is still around today. The Hansen soda is still around today. It's sold in Sprouts and Walmart and Whole Foods and a few other places. And their headquarters has been in the poorly named city of Corona, not a good year for them, since 1998. But the latest victim of a trademark Monster lawsuit was its partner, Coca-Cola itself. They sued Coca-Cola because Coke started putting out a drink that you also might be familiar with from a few years back. It was a lemonade called Hubert's Lemonade. And if you'll recall, the fruit squeezer who started this whole story was a man named Hubert Hansen, who had died in 1951. And on these Hubert lemonade bottles, they were putting Hubert Hansen's life story, which the Monster Corporation did not give them permission to do. So they sued them, and it was settled just before the pandemic hit. And Monster won $9.6 million in damages and $7.4 million in legal fees, making it the biggest verdict of its kind in U.S. history. So stay amped up, Monster Energy drink, and I'll see you in court at 4 a.m. after drinking 6 of you.
After pacing for 2 days. That's wild.
Yeah, it's bestial. It's crazy. Like the whole story, I was just so excited to sure, Hansen soda, but guess what they became? You won't believe what they did.
Natural, Snapple, what a nice reference is. Here we are.
Greg, listen to this. The real story starts here. That's our midway point. Yeah. So we're going to take an ad break right now, and we'll see you. Go get some sodas. Why not? Yeah. Go get some sodas. Why not?
If you take an ad break, I'm going to take a pee break.
I'm going to take a pee break, too.
Okay.
Let's go pee.
Let's go together.
Let's go pee, everybody.
Drag this with you.
We'll see you on the other side. Greg. I've been meaning to talk to you about this for a whole month, but Podcorn.com is pretty great.
I'm obsessed with it.
That's right. This episode, again, is brought to you by Podcorn.com. To put it in layman's terms,
pretend you're talking to me. A real doofus.
A real mashed potato for brain kind of guy. You know those things you see on television that have, they make you cry during the Super Bowl, and there's also, wacky things that happen, and at the end of it, you want to buy a Cheez-It?
I didn't know the words for that. Are those Podcorns?
Yeah.
That Audi Podcorn would have worked if I had the money to buy an Audi.
If you want to get the money to buy an Audi, and you have a podcast like a lot of our listeners do, go to podcorn.com. It's a place that will connect you, the podcaster, to advertisers to run ads for them on your show. Podcorn is a marketplace connecting podcasters to amazing podcast sponsorship opportunities such as host-read ads like these, interview segments, which we haven't done, topical discussions, and more. With Podcorn, there's no middleman, so you connect directly to the advertisers. They have listings, and you message them and say, this is who listens to our show, this is what we can talk about, and it's open to podcasts of all sizes.
Barack Obama would probably like Podcorn.
Barack Obama is here right now to talk about Podcorn. Don't you want to say something, Barack Obama? Greg, do your Barack Obama impression.
Hi,
I am not a crook.
I am the Secret Service agent protecting Barack Obama, and he's not feeling very good today, so I just wanted to say that he's very pleased to be here.
So you can choose your opportunities right on the platform. You set your own rates, and you collaborate with the brands directly without any exclusivities. Nobody else is involved. It's just you and them talking about it. I know this is your favorite part of Podcorn. You never give up any rights to your podcast when you do an ad.
So genuinely important to us for some reason, because we're afraid of people stealing our intro idea.
I'm afraid we're going to do an ad for a mattress company, and then the next week, our faces are all over the mattress company, and we're owned by the mattress company. Podcorn's there every step of the way to make sure you're protected and you're compensated for your work. Their mission is to give podcasters transparency, creative freedom, and full control of how and when we monetize. Now we can actually be proactive and find ads for stuff we want to do ads for. We don't have to you get to choose. We don't have to do things that wouldn't be a good fit. We don't have to do all those MMA ads that otherwise we would have had to. If you want to get involved with Podcorn, click the link in the show notes to sign up for it, and you can start browsing your sponsorship opportunities today for your own show. So that is podcorn.com. Please have a better tagline than the last one.
All I have is be our competitor is the best one I ever came up with because we were talking about other podcasts.
Oh, yeah, but that doesn't apply anymore.
That doesn't apply anymore.
Podcorn.com.
It doesn't apply anymore.
Okay. And we're back from our urinary extravaganza.
We peed so much and we can prove it.
There's DNA all over the toilet seat lid.
I'm going to talk about a place.
Yes, and here we are.
Urine is in the air on my hands. We're going to be talking about a place that's very near and dear to my heart.
Is it your rib cage?
It's that connecting piece between my aorta and... Today we're going to talk about the little soda pop stop that could and did... Galco's Old World Groceries at 5702 York Boulevard in Highland Park, California.
Just like we had to pause for a second when we started talking about Orange Bang. What a great place.
What a fantastic little place. Yeah. I cannot believe, again, that we get to keep it.
Yes. We don't deserve this, but for some reason they haven't taken it away from us yet.
It is so, here's the word I always think of, pure.
Yeah.
It's such a pure place.
Yeah. And the guy's really nice. We met him one time. He autographed some postcards.
He did. Some very lucky Patreon people got postcards signed by John Neese.
And now some very lucky garbage dump has those, those postcards.
Some very lucky drawer is hiding it right now. Galco's, if you don't know, specializes in hard-to-find sodas of a wide variety of tastes. It is an incredible store with incredible stock that is always blasting songs to the 50s and 60s. It is the kind of place I always think I know every 50s hit. And then I go in there and I'm like, oh, Shazam, hurry up. It's almost over, Shazam.
Shazam, get in here. As if the place wasn't good enough. The fact that they're playing like really deep 50s cuts the whole time is...
I get genuinely excited. Yeah. I'll be talking up a ginger ale, okay? I'll be talking up some sort of, butter pecan drink.
I'll be harassing a soda that also tastes like coffee.
And then Clarence Frogman Thomas comes on. I'm like, okay, everyone stop. I'm busy.
What is this song?
It's I ain't got a man, I ain't got a ton, I ain't got no one. I'm a lonely frog, I ain't got a home.
Anyway, this is our backdoor pilot for our podcast about Frogman.
You give me Umbop, I give you...
My generation's Umbop. Frog. The squirrel is in a branch staring at
you. He is like either poised to attack or attentively listening like a good little boy.
This is like in a movie where we were talking about like the secret plans for something.
Yeah.
We were like two side characters carelessly talking about the secret plans for something, and then like, well, but nobody can find out, and we walk away, but then the camera lingers and zooms in, and the squirrel was behind the bushes the entire time listening.
His head resting on his hands, belly on the tree bark, just listening.
This squirrel is going to bite us by the time this episode's
I think he
done.
wants to go home with us, and I kind of want to take him.
Do you want to...
have a brother? Does Ringo want a brother today?
Okay. A feral brother? Oh, yeah. So where were we? Galco's.
Galco's story goes so far back. So far back. Okay. I could not believe how far Galco's goes back. Galco's story goes back beyond carbonated beverages to old Los Angeles. Two Italian men, Mr. Okay, they're Italian names. Okay. My girlfriend's going to stab me in the neck. So let's just get all the good stuff out now. Mr. Gagliardo and Mr. Cortopassi. I also read their brothers. I also read this separately in another place I can't confirm anywhere. Gaiolato and Cordo are both brothers and their last name is Passi. So one guy's name isn't Cortopassi, it's Cordo space Passi.
So it's no matter what... Oh, another horse is coming by. And the squirrel's coming down from the tree. And he's looking at us.
Oh my God, he is looking at us. Okay, it was really cute when you were up in the tree far away, but do not come close.
And now the horse is in the tree. And the horse is looking at us. And now the horse is biting me.
Now the tree is on the horse and the tree's looking at me?
Suddenly, I'm the squirrel. Yeah, those names, all of those names sound like really old Italian names that we're never going to, it's like people from the Old West and their names like, my name is Hump Bump Clutter Bump. What's your first name?
Oh, that's all the first name, yeah. Okay, so anyways, these two Italian men opened Galco's Imported Grocery. They opened it in like the 1890s as an Italian grocery store on Pico in Vermont, but it was moved by 1897. They moved to Old Chinatown. They just called it Chinatown back then, which was actually closer to where Union Station was, or it's actually like kind of where Alpine is, if you know the area of Chinatown that's like against the hill.
Well, that's the one that they like raised, right?
Yeah.
Then they built Disney's Chinatown. Forget it, Mickey. It's the...
Don't tell me to forget anything. I told you forget about it. So the store was on Casteller Street, which is now Hill, and Ord. Ord is where, I know Ord for sure is where Philippe's is. Hill is where the freeway is. So it was back there by Alpine. A lot of people might recall that Chinatown, what we think of Chinatown now, actually had a large Italian population at the time.
Right. Well, the Italian-American...
Yes, that's right.
The people who notoriously don't like us.
By episode 4, we're already like, no.
Stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
The Italian-American Museum's right kind of near there.
Kind of near there, yeah. So not too far from there, where they opened up Galco's originally, Hill and Ord, around there in Chavez Ravine, Louis Ness was born in 1910. His father, an Italian immigrant, herded goats there in Chavez Ravine, where Major League Baseball is now played. Louis' next-door neighbor growing up was a woman...
Now they've only got the goat. And I'm talking about Mike Piazza. He's still playing.
And they still have him for some reason, and he won't leave the dugout.
And he will always be the GOAT.
He keeps talking about squatters' rights. It's a dugout. It's not a house.
He keeps talking about pitchers' rights.
He's a catcher. Louis' next-door neighbor growing up was the woman who...
Whatever, pitch, catch. What is reality? A tree's looking at a horse.
Louis' next-door neighbor growing up was the woman who would eventually become his wife, Rose Marie Ness. This is a woman who recalled when Broadway was a dirt road. This is how old...
And it was just people doing like monologues on the side of a dirt road.
Yeah. Shakespeare in the Park, but Shakespeare was alive editing it. Live readings with Shakespeare. The two got hitched anyways in 1933. But as a boy, Louis would sell...
Saturday Night Live with William Shakespeare and Chris Kattan.
Special guest Mike Piazza.
Musical guest, a harmonica.
Harmonica on a windy day. Oy. We do history, right? I don't remember.
I have reality's blurring. A tree's mating with a
tree's
squirrel.
on the horse. It's not a big deal. But as a boy, Louis would sell newspapers outside of Galco. So come 1940, Louis would opt in and become a business partner with Giolato and Cordopassi, and 3 years later, he just bought the store from them. This is now 1955, and Galco's imported groceries moved from their Chinatown location to its permanent home in Highland Park on York Boulevard.
What year was this?
1955. So they've been there since 1955. The company,
still a long time. We talk about like, it's not, that was 70 years ago.
Yeah, that was 70 years ago. And the store was actually older than that, breaching into old Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's so weird. Just like the Pobladors crossed the river and Galco's was there. You guys want a soda that tastes like celery?
No, I don't know what any of that is. Thank you very much. I've been walking for like 3 months. And for close to 40 years, Galco's functions as a small mom-and-pop grocery store. After decades of prosperity, though, the emergence of large chain grocery stores in the 90s, cue the 90s montage, and those stores' massive distribution channels, places like Galco's were being overshadowed and crushed. All these mom-and-pop little rinky-dink stores. It was no competition. So Galco's was on the brink of closing its doors in 1995 when Louis and Rosemarie's son, John, stepped in. That's the John Ness that we know now, who's still at the store.
The guy who signed the cards.
The guy with
John
the apron
Ness.
who signed the cards.
The man in the apron.
The man in the apron. John Ness knew what was ahead was a David versus Goliath struggle to keep his family business going.
Which is also one of their sodas.
This is also a soda, and it tastes just like Bethlehem.
The old taste of Bethlehem.
Ooh, hot dirt.
Now with more frozen slingshots in it. Now the thing is scratching under its arm. It's just like us. It's emulating us.
It
like
is.
when we scratch under our arms this whole time we're talking.
He's scratching.
He's got a little microphone, Greg.
He's trying to plug into there's not another port.
He has his own mixer. So anyway, John Ness is in the picture.
John Ness grew up in the 50s and would help his dad at his family's market, which was new. As a young kid growing up in Galco's working with his father, what excited him the most about going in and working was it meant he got to drink soda pop during lunch.
So this was just like a store.
Yeah.
It wasn't a soda store.
It wasn't a soda store.
Okay.
It was just like a mom and pop sort of market.
Not
like
pop like soda.
Not soda pop. Not mom and soda pop. Mom and pop.
Mother and soda pop. I would be so proud of us.
A mother and father shop. They didn't sell mothers and fathers. So, you know what I'm talking about, right? So anyways, it really excited him as a kid going and helping his dad because it meant when they had lunch, he would get soda.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's how he was paid.
Thank you for throwing the word in that we've been saying a bunch this whole episode.
What is that stuff called?
Yeah, carbonate. I don't remember. I call all sodas Pepsi anyway, so.
I'm from Missouri.
I'm from the Southwest. I call all soda Squirt. So excuse me, please. Everything's a cactus cooler to me. Yeah, so John's dad, Louis, who originally started, his best friend owned a soda pop bottling plant, and John loved to visit it as a kid. So that's like, he grew up around a lot of soda.
Mm-hmm.
He also attended
like you did with your godfather.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I opened up my own soda shop, and it's called this podcast. John also attended something called Happy Camp, which sounds fake, but I guess it's real, during the summers, and he would often fantasize about hooking up natural bubbling spring water, adding syrup, and siphoning it to the school's drinking fountain. So there's a love of soda purely there.
That would be great.
And it's pizza every day.
Instead of teachers, there were just pizzas. There was just a human-sized stack of pizzas in front of the classroom every day.
And instead of learning, you got dumber every day.
It would have been great. It would have been great.
It's basically describing my life now. Another factor in what would make John the best candidate to take over was growing up the son of a small business owner, which meant he grew up understanding how things like distribution channels and pricing caps worked. If you read interviews with him, he's incredibly savvy and heavily opinionated when it comes to companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and large supermarkets.
Oh, is he now?
Very opinionated.
Well,
I turned. You changed me with the last story. Now I've turned. I don't like Coca-Cola anymore.
He also is very opinionated on panettone, which he kept trying to, because we were there around like Christmas time, and he's like, "You gotta try this panettone I got. Come eat the panettone. I got it from those Italian guys."
He was holding like a case of it and kept trying to. Can you hold this for me? Yeah. And just walk it over to the counter and then pay for it.
Can you hold your credit card out for me? Just I could scan it from here. Yeah, he kept trying to we just wanted to buy some postcards and soda, and he's like, "Buy my panettone, please."
I go over a pot. Please help me out.
He opened up his card. It's just panettone everywhere.
So in the mid-90s, according to legend via John, everything started after an encounter with a Pepsi salesman trying to sell a 100-case pallet of Pepsi to the store. Mm-hmm. John asked the salesman, "How much am I actually going to profit off this case?" And the salesman said about $30. John says, "Thanks, but no thanks," because supermarkets, they're on York Boulevard, and he said the supermarket down the street can sell a 12-pack for $1.99 if they wanted to, and Galco's will spend the money and suffer. They can't compete with the big store that can sell it at any price they want. So from what John says, the big chain supermarkets bought up all the distribution channels to regular grocery stores, then closed the distribution channels and then reopened them with larger prices for like $20 a case, which big chain supermarkets could afford, and they had no cap in pricing. They would sell anyways, so they were gonna like mark up or mark down whatever they needed to close the little shops down. So those closing of big distribution channels by the markets were effectively what I'm trying to get at, is crushing the stores.
John Ness was in trouble.
Thank you very much. So anyways, Pepsi guy leaves, comes back the next day with a regional manager. They look around, they don't say anything, they leave.
And then it's a Coke guy, but it's the same guy with a mustache. You want to buy Coca-Cola?
Same guy, but just a little bit handsomer. And then John said he had an order placed already previously. That order was never received, and that was kind of just the last straw, like with dealing with these people. He was done trying to beg for scraps. The encounter also had the positive benefit of reminding John that the shelves at Galco were his spaces to sell what he wanted. He didn't have to sell these big, at big chain stores, customers are limited to what the store sells and what a high demand popular item is. Right. Like they work almost in conjunction.
There's no customization.
Exactly.
This is the auteur of supermarkets.
It's the big movie theater is going to play the Marvel movie. It's not. You're not going to watch.
Yeah. Ralph's is a Thor movie. This is the Phantom Thread.
This is your Francis Ha. And Mom and Pop.
The squirrel is,
it sounded like it was just behind me. Mom and pop grocery stores are strong-armed, basically, into selling whatever the most popular item is, and it can cripple a store if, let's say, Coke wants to sell $20 a case, and that's the most popular thing. It'll crush your store. So as John puts it, big stores don't have a lot of dollar profits, so Coke takes profits from little stores in order to buy more shelf space in bigger stores and eliminate the company. I've been saying the same thing over and over and over and over. It wasn't that Coke was a better product, they just simply squeezed everyone off the shelf. All of the understanding this is to understand how Galco's works and why Galco's is Galco's.
Yeah, almost like if he didn't sort of specialize the way he did, he wouldn't be in it.
Exactly. We wouldn't be going to Galco's.
Which is today. Like one of the themes of everything here, basically, we're talking about is like be niche.
Yeah.
Like a niche thing, well, you'll do fine.
Describing the podcast. Thank you once again. Be niche. He's so niche that the WTFs can't come for you.
And also when we're online on YouTube or Reddit, be nice.
No.
Be niche, be nice. That's the motto of LA Meekly.
So true. So John decided that instead of helping to shut down other little businesses like his own, he was going to give them a boost, and he was going to use Soda Pop to do it. He would start reaching out and making connections.
Father?
I'm going to use you now, Father. He would start reaching out and making connections and stocking shelves with hard-to-find novelty sodas. It grew organically. Someone would call the store asking for a mint soda in the LA area, and he said he didn't know where to find it, but she did. He's talking about a specific case, not necessarily the first case, but like things like this would happen at the beginning, and it started to just grow. So this lady called asking for mint sodas in LA. He said he didn't know where to find it. She's like, oh, I know where to find it. I just didn't know how to get to LA. It was in Pittsburgh. So he'd called a plant in Pittsburgh that bottled mint soda and said, I have a woman here on the West Coast that wants some. And then a channel was formed, and that's how suddenly he has a channel to this mint soda place. That was basically the model at the beginning. He started stocking the shelves with smaller brands of soda from independent bottlers, and it started getting attention from that. They now sell something like 750 varieties of soda, and not just soda, but also like craft beers, candy, sake, wines.
Old candies.
Like button, specialty. The button with the paper.
Yeah, the stuff you'd find at Willy Wonka's factory.
Exactly.
They have everlasting gobstoppers.
Yeah, scrumdiddlyumptious. Your standard Wonka bar.
Wonka bar. The Candyman himself is there.
Who will let let kids raid his store, but the second that Charlie wants something,
Not you.
Not you. I see you enjoying that. You look poor. Can you prove that you have money? You don't have to pay me right now, but just prove that you have money.
He was Coca-Cola. And John Ness is little Charlie Bucket. But that bucket is full of soda.
It's full of a cucumber soda.
Can I have ketchup flavored soda? Do you know where to find I know where to find ketchup flavored soda. I don't know where to find it here.
In 2011, they began making their own soda there at Galco's after John Ness wanted to produce a long-gone cream soda that was made by the White Rose Springs Water Co., which was a plant in Northeast LA up until the 60s. Not only did he want to recreate this cream soda from the 60s, to do it, he needed to use a vintage carbonation method that could replicate the taste of a 1930s era soda. So they looked around, they found a bottling company in Pittsburgh. They operated the last pinpoint dry ice carbonation machine in the U.S. And the process made it super like the cream soda was like champagne bubbly.
It was trembling on the shelf.
What is the soda called in Willy Wonka?
A fizzy lifting drink. Burp on me, Charlie. Burp into your grandpappy's mouth, and our lives will be saved.
That is the grossest scene.
After all that wonderful, this is making me so hungry.
Yeah.
And then listening to people burp for 4 minutes.
To save their lives, to not get cut up in a fan. And then they roll up after a traumatizing incident like, so what are we talking about now?
This tour's pretty great, isn't it?
We're totally paying attention, but where are we? What are we talking about right now? Am I sweating a lot? Grandpa's crying. So with this method, they were able to recreate and sell that cream soda, and a portion of the proceeds went to benefit the Southwest Museum and the Casa de Adobe.
Really? So they're making their own soda there also?
Yeah, they're making, I don't know if they bottle it there, but I know they make their own soda there. They also have like those...
Yeah, they have the make your own
soda things, yeah. Also, a huge part of Galco's is the deli, which I've only eaten at once, but I love. I always forget about it, and I was going to Galco's full already. Yeah. And so I always forget I should have.
You're just thirsty when
I'm just thirsty. I always go when I've already eaten. But the deli is great. The menu includes a sandwich called the Blockbuster. It's attributed to boxer Rocky Marciano, who supposedly came into Galco's one day to grab a sandwich and remarked, "Wow, this is a real blockbuster." Wow, this is a real meatball sandwich.
He could have said anything. This is a real turkey club.
This is a real heat stroke. Call it the heat stroke. The sandwiches are made using the same sourdough bread and Molinari cold cuts the family has used for decades. John Ness was on California Gold with Huell Hauser, a great episode. And
I mean, like two doppelgangers of each other.
It is the Conan Stephen Colbert of like California novelties. Ness has made numerous appearances on TV talking about Galco's. Here's something I didn't know till this morning. Billie Eilish said it's one of her favorite places and even filmed something in Galco's. And she went on that YouTube show, The Hot Ones, where they eat spicy food. And she did on The Hot Ones, talked about Galco's.
That's so
did
weird.
a soda tasting thing. And then John Ness recorded a thank you message for Billie Eilish. And then they had like a little promo where they're like waving and stuff. And then she's like burping through the whole thing. It was pretty gross.
She was trying to stay out of the fan.
The most surprising thing to me, not only is that Billie Eilish is a LA native and grew up around.
She is?
Yeah. Not only that, did you know, much like Fox's, that she's not British?
Well, if she's an LA native.
Yeah, that's how that works. I thought that she was British. And I swear to God, I heard her in an interview with a British accent. I'm like, oh, good for her being a British person.
You might be thinking of Lorde. Or maybe I'm just thinking Lords are from England.
I think that you're thinking
she's
that Lords.
Also from LA. She's from Pacoima. What do you and I know about any music that isn't being played over the speakers of Galco's? Now he only plays Billie Eilish.
I'm kind of scared that he's going to it's going to get to his head and I only play Billie Eilish now.
I skateboard now.
Yeah, I play really moody music from a teenage girl. Galco's has I bet you can comment on this, annual summer soda tasting.
I was waiting until the end to talk about this.
You can expand your soda palette. This Galco's event features small pours of an array of different soda styles. On some occasions, soda makers themselves are there to pour the shot glass size gulps. I'm going to name a couple of the most popular ones from 2019, and then I'll let you comment. Vanilla butterscotch root beer from Oso.
So
sparkling pink grapefruit from Bundaberg.
I like Bundaberg, but I don't like grapefruit.
Okay. Almond cream
You're
soda.
You're asking for my commentary, right?
No.
No, I'm sorry, friend. You don't understand how this works.
Almond cream soda from Red Ribbon Soda Works. Lavender Sweet Blossom from the Global Beverage Enterprises. Come up with a better name.
From Soda Inc.
And unfortunately named Plantation Style Mint Julep.
I won't
Auschwitz
order
style.
it. Mission style burritos. That's a thing. But anyway,
tell me about it because you've been to it.
It's called like Around the World in 80 Sips or something like that. We went to it years ago. I still have the shot glass. You get to keep the shot glass. And you go around. Yeah, there was like 30 booths or something. They do it in the parking lot and then also in the store. And you just go to each one and they have like 5 different sodas from their company and you just like, all right, fill it up. Wow. And they give you a shot of each one.
It's pretty cool.
And yeah, there's so many fun different things. Your taste buds sort of start to like fizzle out.
Sure, yeah.
But you also start to get a little bit drunk because you're drinking like by like the 70th sip.
Yeah.
Like you've had so much sugar and carbonation and caffeine, like you start getting a little weird.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun and there were some really really, really weird sodas like rosemary soda or
yeah.
tarragon. I think it was like tarragon soda.
Really?
Yeah, that one was not good. but there were some really good
That's the thing with Galco's, and I love it. And this is part of my appeal is that you can try really bad sodas there, which I often do. I'm like, that's
what
good.
It says on their on the marquee.
I'll be in the car like, this sucks, but just the opportunity that they had it makes me happy.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for the opportunity to drink this. Butterscotch root beer was the last one I got, and like I have a layer in my mouth that won't go away.
I highly recommend the Around the World in 80. And just going there, of course, go there. But the Around the World in 80 Sips is like one of the greatest things I've ever done in Los Angeles. Like, it was so much fun.
Did we ever talk about what your bachelor party was like?
Only a part of the bachelor party was an extended root beer taste test
between you and Alberto, man who created the theme for the podcast.
The theme song. But that was only one part.
Like
that was the tip of the iceberg. That whole root beer taste test had been going on before and after that.
Really?
Like we've tried like 100 different root beers, a lot of which were bought at Galco's because that was the only place to find the weirdest ones.
We went there together before you went on your trip, so you can buy your supply, of course. And that's when we ran into John S. and he signed the things. Also, part of your bachelor party, we went to a buffet in the casino. All your friends are psychotic because they plan buffet food, so they're like, no, you can't have the carbs before the salad. What are you? That's empty calories. I'm like, no one's ever okay. I ate so much I thought I was gonna throw up, and then Aaron's driving I was pretty obviously gonna throw up in the desert. And then we watched Enter the Dragon while you guys tasted sodas, and I didn't have a single drink the whole night.
It was
welcome aboard.
It was heaven. Welcome to what you guys told me was Palm Springs, but was actually Joshua Tree.
Talk to the Airbnb people.
Oh, I will.
Oh, it's right off the beaten path of Palm Springs, a walking distance.
It's right off the desert behind Palm Springs.
We stayed not too far from there. When me and Ada went to Joshua Tree during the pandemic, we were like, aren't I 3 miles away from where we stayed before? I kept telling Ada, you kept repeating that night, and I was telling her, and she on purpose, and she was getting annoyed. You need to have your eyes dilate. That's what I kept telling her because you were screaming at us the whole trip.
Because I wanted to see the Milky Way, and so I led us. That was the pretense that I led you all into the desert under.
I gotta load the shotgun. It's astronomy related.
The clicking is your eyes dilating. Yeah, you got it, because you all were like, I want to look at my phone. No, you've got to let your eyes dilate. You go into the desert, no light, don't even look at the cars that might be driving by, and you got to let your eyes dilate.
For 30 minutes, you kept screaming at us during the day on the way over there. The squirrel got scared because I was screaming. You're not in trouble, he's in trouble. Anyways, to finish this off before we start the next one. If you go there today, 2021, you are more likely to run into John Ness wearing a red apron and stocking the shelves. He's a man who took his family's business and made something truly special, nationally recognized, and fought the chain stores that would have suppressed him and would have closed Galco's down. That man is still there today, stocking the shelf. So go say hi, go stop by Galco's, go hungry, and stop by the deli. Get a Blockbuster.
And tell him L.A. Meekly sent you.
He won't know what that means, and that's fine.
Those boys who made me sign that postcard, the boys who didn't buy the Panettone, you want some Panettone?
That's what the postcard said.
Panettone, half off. Sincerely. Yeah, that's a great place. I'm getting so hungry talking about all these sugary drinks and everything. But let's get to our last one. This is maybe the sugariest. Now, Orange Bang is pretty sugary, but a soda made out of Shirley Temple? Surely you can't be a cannibal. What do you think of that?
I have no idea what's going on.
I'm talking about the Shirley Temple drink.
Oh, on the good ship. Soda pop. See, I did a thing that you do. You happy? You like that? You like that kind of crap?
It feels good. It feels good to wear you down like that. But yeah, I'm talking about Shirley Temple. The Shirley Temple. So first off, let's just talk about what the greatest...
When you say the Shirley Temple, make sure you know that the drink...
That's actually an interesting part of it. That's going to be... You're attracting the squirrel. We're going to get into all of that.
Okay.
The very confusion you just had.
Chevy Chase.
It's the Chevy Chase of drinks. It's not named after that Shirley Temple. It's another Shirley Temple.
It's an old Irish Shirley Temple.
Named Chevy Chase. So let's talk about what the greatest drink ever created is.
It kind of is.
What is a Shirley Temple? Well, it's not that simple. What do you think you start with? What, in your opinion, what do you start with of a Shirley Temple?
Cherries.
Okay, other than that, like, what is the liquid?
I don't even know. It's like seltzer water or something?
Well, most of us use Sprite or 7-Up, which in itself is a debate. But if we're going strictly traditional, you gotta use ginger ale.
Ginger ale, really?
I don't think I've had that, but that sounds great. And then you add your grenadine, which, again, guess what flavor grenadine is? Because I never knew this.
Grenades.
It's war flavored.
War flavored. No, what?
It tastes like Vietnam.
What flavor is grenadine?
Well, what do you think grenadine is? The syrup, that red syrup.
Yeah, actually, I have no idea.
Grenadine, which I always assumed was cherry flavored, it's pomegranate flavored.
Oh, okay.
Everyone thinks it's cherry flavored because of the next addition to the drink, a maraschino cherry on top. Everybody, including me until about a week ago, thought Shirley Temples were cherry flavored, but they're actually not. It's grenadine flavored, and there's just the cherry on top.
Very odd.
It's weird.
I'll have to rethink my entire life.
It just kind of tastes like red.
Yeah.
But it's delicious.
I've always thought the same thing. The way I think Windex tastes like blue.
Yeah. I'm drinking a prime color right now.
I've tapped into a higher sense.
I have that disease where I can taste colors.
It's synesthesia.
Yeah. That you can say, but you can't say simulacrum.
How dare you?
So then there's the occasional addition of a slice of lime on top. And in Canada, they apparently put orange juice in it.
All right. Well, I can't have it then.
But, well, I'm out. And for that reason, I'm out. But that's the Shirley Temple. It was the original mocktail. This was the first one, the Shirley Temple. Then there's the Four Boys version, which I resent because I will always order a Shirley Temple anywhere I go. I'm definitely not Four Boys in a trench coat. The Four Boys version is the Roy Rogers, which is the same thing, but they use Coke instead of...
okay. It's just like a cherry Coke.
Pretty much, well, a grenadine Coke.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I just taught you that. But some people call that a Shirley Temple Black, which is funny.
Okay.
That's her married name.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the first thing I ordered at a bar when I turned 21, the Dirty Shirley.
You did?
Which has vodka in it and ruins the entire thing, in my opinion.
What's bad about adding rubbing alcohol to a drink? Why would that be bad?
The sweetest thing you can imagine. What's so wrong about adding the exact opposite taste?
I think you just need it made better.
More vodka. But this still leads us to the real question. What is a Shirley Temple? In brief, Shirley Temple was born April 23rd, 1928, right here in Santa Monica. Another, like Billie Eilish. She was the original Billie Eilish.
She was the really...
Billie Eyelash, more like it. More,
funny.
The way those eyes, Greg.
It's a little girl.
At age 3, she started acting in her first movies, a series unfortunately titled The Baby Burlesques.
Okay.
And she had a natural talent for dancing, so Fox, not the guy who made the Orange Bang.
The guy who blew up the bridge or whatever.
Guy Fawkes. Yeah. Picked her up, probably literally, and made 9 movies with her. And this was the height of the big old depression. So this sweet, innocent, little optimistic girl dancing was just what the sad sack American public needed to see at the time. And
Look at her. She's not starving to death. We're doing fine.
Yeah, she's so plump. And she became huge, not physically.
Nobody was.
It was the depression. Her movies, they were wildly popular. She was making more money than the president, who wasn't. FDR said, as long as our country has Shirley Temple, we will be all right.
Oh my God.
She was like the original Bitcoin. She was like a currency of her own.
Imagine them saying that about like a child star. As long as we have Jonathan Taylor Thomas, we'll be fine.
As long as we have Finn Wolfhard, America will always pull through this. Her pinnacle came in 1934 when Bright Eyes, where she sang the song that we all know from TV infomercials of CD box sets, On the Good Ship. Lolly Soda Pop. People loved this performance so much she was awarded a special Oscar for outstanding personality that year.
You seem chipper. You want an award for it?
Most chipper.
Anyways, I'm halfway done screaming to Judy Garland about something.
You don't win it this year, Judy. Here you go, little Shirley. Between 1935 to 38, she was the biggest thing in America behind eating sawdust. By 1940, she had already been in 43 movies.
Oh my God.
She was 12 years old. I can't even do the math on it.
I mean, like they shot a movie a day, basically. So
well, for her, they did. She retired from acting in 1949 and went on to have a really impressive political and humanitarian career, but we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about soda pop.
We're talking about little girls and soda pop.
Why is there a drink named after her? As the story goes, it was Shirley's 10th birthday, and she was out to eat with her parents, but she started complaining because her parents were drinking old fashions and
bought by their child's success.
Yeah,
on the back of her
paid for
child.
By this daughter's mangled feet from doing tap dancing. And she didn't get to drink old fashions because she was 10.
Yeah.
So the staff, who would never work again if they made 10-year-old Shirley Temple cry, whipped up a non-alcoholic equivalent of an old-fashioned out of things they had lying around, ginger ale and grenadine, complete with the cherry on top.
That is incredible that I never saw that those two things
Neither
are the
did
same
I.
thing.
I never put it together.
Wow.
But
it's so funny because I always associate, like if you had put a Shirley Temple in a rock glass, like the way you usually get an old-fashioned, I'd be like, oh, those two things are the same thing.
Are you two related? Now, where exactly this happened will always be debated.
I bet.
Yeah, the Royal Hawaiian Hotel in Honolulu claims they invented it because Shirley would vacation there a lot with her parents. More locally, some people say it was the Pig and Whistle.
Oh, okay.
One guy named Smith Smithy Lowther claimed...
Okay, first of all, his name should be Liar Liar.
Liar.
Lyre.
So he claimed he invented it at a restaurant in Hollywood, but he never said what restaurant that was.
Yeah.
The most widely accepted answer is one of two places. Most people believe it was at Chasen's, which was at 9039 Beverly Boulevard in West Hollywood, which is now a Bristol Farms.
Okay.
Of course. What isn't a Bristol Farms in West Hollywood? But supposedly they still have part of the old restaurant preserved as part of their cafe.
Oh, wow.
But then there's the people who believe it was, of course, the Brown Derby.
Yes.
Which makes sense because they did drinks named after celebrities all the time, and also Shirley Temple herself said it was invented there. So that might be the place.
Who to trust.
I don't know. I think it's Liar Mick Liar or whatever we called him. Liar. His maiden name is Pants on Fire.
Pants on Fire. It's French. It sounds more lyrical in French, but in American it sounds like
when
Pants
he
on
came
Fire.
to Ellis Island, they changed it. But here's the twist of lemon. Shirley Temple hated the Shirley Temple.
You're kidding.
She hated the taste of them. She said it's a saccharine, sweet, icky drink.
Is she describing herself or the drink? I'm confused.
It's a saccharine, sweet, icky drink. I hate myself. And she said in later years, all over the world, I am served that. People think it's funny. I hate them. Too sweet.
She's sounding a little bit more like
Judy Garland.
Judy Garland. Yeah, she sounds like the little kid at the end of Pee-wee's Big Adventure when he's like on camera. He's like, "Oh, anything, Mother Margaret," but off camera he's like, "Why? She showed up late every time." That sounds like
How dare they? I wanted an old fashioned. One person tried to give her one once, and she said, "If you drink that, you're going to get diabetes." She hated the idea of her name being on what was essentially a cocktail for kids.
right. Call it that. It's much better. Don't call it mocktails. Call it cocktails for kids.
Kitty cock. No, don't call him that. Never mind. I take that back.
Scratch that, please.
On top of that, she said she was not even there for the creation of this drink, and the whole story, she was never served it as a kid. She says that the Brown Derby just made it up, and she had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Here's what. Okay, well, for sure she wasn't in the Pig and Whistle when she was 10 years old. No way. Jonathan Taylor Thomas wouldn't be let in there. No, there was Shirley Temple.
And Liar McLiar, I think we can't trust him. Yeah, so she says she had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
It just was made.
It's weird how I believe her because she's Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
And the drink is called Shirley Temple.
Yeah.
And she probably knows better.
And why would she lie?
And why would she not lie, Larson?
So Shirley Temple's going around putting animal crackers in her soup, hating the Shirley Temple. But decades later came someone who wasn't a child star, Bradley Weidman. He was just a regular man from Encino, not an Encino man, who loved soda. Kind of like an Encino man. He decided to make his own soda company, so he sold his sports car for $30,000. It's Encino. Everyone has a sports car. And he started making sodas, and he'd sell them to delis and yogurt shops around Encino, and it eventually grew into a whole West Coast thing called Soda Pop Kids. But then in 1988, he decided to make a bottled version of the Shirley Temple, but he didn't want to risk being sued, so he called it the Shirley Tea, with the tagline, the Shirley Temple soft drink.
Okay. It's not Mickey Mouse.
It's Mickey M.
Yeah.
The Mickey Mouse.
The Mickey Mouse.
The Michael Mouse. And then he got sued. Shirley Temple, the woman, was very protective of what she would and wouldn't allow her name to be attached to. She picked which toys, which dolls, which music boxes.
Now, sorry, I hate to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Which toys or which toys?
She picked witches.
Witches.
There's three meanings we're talking about. All three meanings apply. She curated
Thank you.
which toys, which dolls, which music boxes that her name was on throughout the years because she was very careful about the Shirley Temple brand and image. She said a celebrity's name and image is all a celebrity has, so she wasn't going to let it just be slapped onto anything.
Smart lady.
One time she had to sue a carnival because they had an elephant named Shirley Temple, and they were putting out signs to draw people in that said, Shirley Temple's in here.
You're kidding.
No. Come see Shirley Temple.
You're kidding.
Come meet.
Okay, does the elephant at least have like little locks? Did they put it in like a little Buster Browns or something?
They cut off its ivory and turned it into locks.
It's a great bit. You're making us 50 cents.
What a thing. What a thing to walk, like the man-eating chicken from the Little Rascals to walk in. This isn't the little girl I want to kidnap.
She knows where gold is buried. I know it.
Earlier in 1988, she even had to sue Shirley's Temple Inc., which was a temple. It was a Jewish temple.
It was a Jewish temple. I'm not going to say what she was, but she was that.
It was in Santa Rosa. They were trying to sell the original Shirley Temple soft drink, and now she's suing Weidman. She hated this drink, and she said him trying to do this exploited her name, diluted her name's value, and also invaded her privacy.
Right.
He was all set to launch an ad campaign that had commercials of a cherry doing Shirley Temple's dance moves
that
he spent $100,000 on, and all that had to be put...
Oh my God, how many cards do you sell to do that? I totally side with her. And the weird thing is, like, you're probably going to get to this. I don't want to, like, jump the gun on it, but, like, just call it something else.
Well,
the drink is good enough to survive a name change.
We're getting into, like, a very heady... And I'm not just talking about when you pour a soda too fast into it. This one's got a lot of froth. So you'd think this would be a standard copyright infringement sort of thing, but this trial took a really interesting philosophical turn. His lawyers argued that the name Shirley Temple no longer belonged to Shirley Temple.
The girl, the woman.
The name, they believed that the drink had been around for so long, attached to something, the name Shirley Temple, something so common in everyday life, the Shirley Temple drink, that the word Shirley Temple had at a certain point changed from being a proper noun to just being a noun.
Wow.
Shirley Temple was now just part of the language and thus was part of the public domain. Wow. This is what his lawyers were claiming, to which she argued, no, it's my name.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm Shirley Temple, and you're stealing my name.
Named after me.
There had been a few other lawsuits that decided that sometimes brand names of things became so common that they just became the public domain name of those things, like a thermos or cellophane.
Band-Aid,
Kleenex,
Q-tip.
But Weidman's lawyers posed that this was the first time that a person's name had crossed over into meaning the same thing as the product named after them.
Right.
There was the celebrity deli sandwich name defense.
Right.
But Shirley's lawyers said that if this guy wins, it's going to set a precedent for a day when Clint Eastwood would mean the same thing as pastrami.
Right.
Like, I'm eating a Clint Eastwood sandwich.
And it's nationally understood.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, make my sandwich. You think you're mustard, punk?
I'm laughing for the effort, just so you know.
So the whole thing turned into this Samuel Beckett play, and in the end, the lawsuit went in Shirley Temple's favor, but that didn't stop the continuation of the legacy of the Shirley Temple drink. And in the end, Weidman's lawyers were exactly right. Like, the drink is still available almost anywhere because it's easy to make and none of the ingredients are perishable.
Yeah.
So they're always around, and kids and some adults, they like it because it's delicious, and it's also made to order like an adult drink rather than just shot out of a dispenser like most kids' drinks are. And it's weird to think that Shirley Temple, legendary movie star at one time, now has a legacy that lives on not really in her movies, but in this drink.
Yeah.
Like, as a kid, I don't think I had ever seen a Shirley Temple movie, but I would drink her drink all the time, and it was a part of my life and is more tangible to me than the woman herself is at this point. And it's weird to have a drink named after you, but it's not even like it's the Julia Roberts Long Island iced tea.
Yeah.
In this case, Shirley Temple was the Long Island iced tea.
Yeah, the Long Island serial killer.
Yeah.
There's no other thing to call it.
No, it crossed over. Like, it just evolved.
It never had another name.
No, and the only other drinks like that are the Roy Rogers, which is nowhere near as popular, and also the Arnold Palmer.
Right.
But he's still kind of recent, and he hasn't quite crossed over into that singularity we should all hope to someday achieve: the union of human entity with carbonated beverage.
God, one day I'll be there.
I can't wait to be a soda.
Transcend this human form.
But yeah, those are some sodas. I am so thirsty and hungry right now.
I'm starving.
Let's get to our listener question and wrap this up.
God damn it.
I just want to drink a cherry Coke. This is from Chris Myers. He sent an
Chris.
email. What are you most looking forward to doing now that things are back open? As a follow-up to Risky Business, which I think he meant at Risky Business.
Right.
This isn't a sequel to Risky Business he's pitching to us.
Well, we do slide.
What are you going to support by visiting now that things are opening up?
Live venues is something I definitely want to support. I'm not quite ready to do live comedy yet. I thought I was, and then kind of like I was like in the car, like I just couldn't do it. But I want to start like the Yard Theater. I want to support them, like because we lost.
That?
It's in Melrose. It's kind of by Skiptown Playhouse. It's like I guess around there. But I want to start supporting local live comedy places again.
Admirable. I'm gearing up to go back to the movie theater. That's what I'm looking forward to doing. I'm also looking forward to the LA Times Book Festival, which I think we already missed our chance for this year.
Yeah.
And just street fairs in general. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Halloween mazes.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait till Halloween this year.
Yeah.
And in terms of specific places to support, I'm looking forward to, I'm not quite there yet, but going to the old restaurants like the Formosa and stuff and sitting in there and supporting them before they can be taken away for good.
Old Town Music Hall, Bob Baker, which we talked about before. We got to get on those things.
Movie theaters.
And theaters.
I've
been going to the drive-in long past when they cleared it for us to go to inside movie theaters. I've still been going to the drive-in.
Yeah, I wonder if those will stick around.
I hope so. I've been going to the Mission Tiki Inn in Claremont, and I love it. And I love how secluded it is and kind of spooky, trashy, but I love it. But I like to think that for that summer, people really enjoy the drive-in, and hopefully people will like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I like that experience more.
I hope it's looking less and less. We knew this all along, but now it's actually happening of like nobody's going to take anything out of this pandemic.
Oh, yeah,
like no good habits, no like rediscovering of things you liked will be taken out of this, which is sad. But I hope bring back drive-in movie theaters and outdoor dining.
Yeah.
Stay around.
Yeah, I mean, I really did like I'm lazy, so like curbside pickup was a miracle to me. I'm hoping that a lot of stores that were struggling found a way to adapt in the heat of the moment, and we're like, oh, this might be our new business model.
Yeah.
Like I hope that
A Galco's.
like a Galco's, for instance.
Necessity.
I took as you know, a bunch of comedy writing classes during the pandemic, and because there were places I could never go to before because they didn't offer online classes. So I was home. They needed to make money, and I hope they keep doing that because I was able to really make that work for myself. And like I hope that that's something they continue to offer because they made money and they were able to stay home and teach.
Yeah. Well, look, the pull of the status quo is strong.
Yes,
and it's
people keep saying normal so much. I'm like, it drives me crazy.
Normal sucked.
Yeah, we hated it.
Nobody liked normal.
2 weeks into the pandemic, people were like, when can we go back to work? Why?
I miss my bad job so much. I miss it. I miss getting spat at by people. So look, if you have listener questions, you can send them to us, la.meekly@gmail.com, or follow us and send them to us on Instagram, la_meekly, Twitter @LAmeekly. Also, leave us a review on iTunes or anywhere you listen to podcasts. It helps us out. It gives us more boost. It gets us more noticed.
And we would love to be a popular thing one day.
We would, but outside of the singularity. And subscribe to our YouTube and support us on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. We'll send you a handwritten postcard every single month.
It'll be a new postcard every month, we promise.
New postcard
and it will be handwritten, personalized to you, whatever your name is. If it's Bridget, or if it's Chris Myers, or if it's David, Can or Con.
Or the best thing about sending postcards is you don't have to pronounce the names.
Yeah.
You can spell them any way you want.
I spell them phonetically. I'm in trouble. I gotta stop
You can make
that.
up any address you want for these people. So yeah, that's been our July soda episode. I can't tell you how like whenever we do a food or drink episode, I'm like sweating with hunger by the time we're done.
I always think like, let's get it before.
I know.
And have it
and
there.
We never do.
And we never do because our lives are back on the run.
Yep. I haven't eaten since June 15th when the restrictions were lifted. But yeah, enjoy your July or 4th of July.
Stay safe.
Stay safe. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Get vaccinated if you aren't vaccinated because it's very unsafe for you right now.
And for the rest of us, a lot of people are saying the only deaths are from unvaccinated people. So
let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
As bad as that might have sounded, let's not let this mutate into something that can undo everything that we've worked towards. Yeah. So get vaccinated. Stay safe. We'll see you in August. I am going to drink the most syrupy soda I can find. And that's been yet another episode of LA Meekly, making Coca-Cola both the good guy and the bad guy since 2013.
Glug, 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 glug.
That's me fainting. I'm so thirsty.
He passed out an hour ago. He just keeps repeating the word glug.
Now the squirrel's just chewing at my throat.